Hey everyone, I'm going to take a look at the new nominating contract and match pass players on eFootball. As I always do with these videos, I'll be running through the 3 stars first, and then I'll give you a quick summary of which 3 stars I would recommend as the best value for a 3-star contract, and then I'll do likewise for the 4 stars, and then onto the 5 stars, and then I'll finish up by looking at 2 new match pass players. As always, I'll put timestamps in the description, so if there's a particular player or section that you want to listen to, then just click in the description, there'll be a link to take you straight to wherever you want to go. So, this time around, we've got some pride of the club 5 stars. There's a few 5 stars to choose from in there. We've got more AFC Champions League, even though we don't get a league challenge for these and they don't get live updates. So for the most part, most of these cards are completely useless. Awesome. This selection contract is in the middle of all the nominating contract packs, which just confuses me and is annoying. I feel like they should maybe separate the coin packs from the selection contracts and the nominating contracts. Maybe it's just to make it easier for simpletons like me, because you've got Drogba there as well. But I'm just rambling at this point. Anyways, so we got J-League back again. The J-League season's begun again. And then we got more Turkish League ones as well. So there's no 3 stars in the Turkish League. We've got a few in the J-League though. So let's start there. And we'll start by taking a look at... Got a few in here. Let's start with Riki Harakawa, box-to-box centre midfielder. He has a face scan. He has some pretty good skills for a centre mid box-to-box. Okay, so this guy's a 3-star. As always with the 3 stars, you can't expect them to be great. There are going to be weaknesses there. With this guy, he's just not particularly brilliant anyway. The stamina stands out to me. He's got poor stamina. Not a lot of balance. Everywhere else is kind of okay-ish. And like I say, the skill set's pretty solid. We've had one previous trainable version of Harakawa. Goes to a similar level to this, but obviously that one was trainable. Had less skills than this one does, though. And he's had a pretty decent boost across the board from his GP card. He lost a couple of points off speed, it looks like, at least on auto allocation. And they've not really boosted his low pass much, which is frustrating. In terms of the skills, like I say, pretty good selection there. A bunch of those are new. He's not got much in his GP card, but long range shooting's new. One-touch pass is new, weighted, and interception as well. So one-touch and through, very important on a centre mid. Interception likewise. We've got a good selection of skills here. But he's just not brilliant. He's just one of these cards where... Obviously, it is a 3-star, and you're getting pretty much what you expect for a 3-star, because, you know, on the ball he's all right, passing is kind of all right, attacking wise is not great, defensively a bit of a mixed bag. On the whole, he's not brilliant. It could be worse, I guess. Not particularly quick, decent amount of kicking power on him, bit of physical strength, not great balance. That stamina's the worst thing about him, though. Whether you're playing DMF or CMF, he's going to get tired pretty quick. You know, it's such an important attribute on a midfielder, especially with the box-to-box playing style. So. Yeah, on the whole, he's kind of alright in some areas, but he's a bit lacking in some, and especially with that stamina. So, for a 3-star contract, if you're lucky enough that you still get to take part in the J-League challenge, maybe be a decent option for a centre midfielder. But I think if you've been playing the game for any length of time by now, you've probably got better options. And to be honest, there are quite a few GP cards that might even be better options than this guy. So. Yeah, some attributes decent, good selection of skills, but on the whole, especially with the stamina, but with a few other attributes as well, even for a 3-star contract, not a terrible card, but it's not really a great one either. And next we have Sen Takagi. We've got an attacking fullback. He is normally a left back. They've changed him to right back. And he's normally a defensive fullback as well. They say change him from a defensive fullback left back to an attacking fullback right back. He's right-footed. He has a face scan. He has a 90s haircut. Excellent. Plays for Shimizu as Pulse. And yeah, this is the first time I've had a feature version of Takagi. Right back they've actually added, and centre back. So he's normally just got left back. They've added centre back and right back. And it's another one of these trending cards where they've quite generously made him semi-proficient at right midfield, even though he can't position training for right midfield, so that's utterly useless. But we do have right back and centre back as new positions there. And in terms of how they boost him for his GP card, he's been boosted pretty much everywhere, really. Just on the ball is where he's not been boosted. He's had a decent boost across the board. Loads of attributes have had a bunch of points added, but on the ball, not really improved much, and that's what stands out. He's horrible on the ball, and on attacking fullback, that's a real shame. Again, it's a 3-star card. You can't expect a great deal. And to be fair, you know, as much as on the ball he is horrible, and that is a glaring weakness. Low pass, kind of iffy. It could be worse. But beyond that, lofted pass, decent. Defensive, decent. Pace, maybe I'd like a bit more acceleration, but certainly the speed's hitting 90 with the maximum game plan boost. So on the whole, his pace is decent. A little bit of physical strength, reasonable balance, good stamina. For the most part, this guy is pretty good for a 3-star. You know, it's just he's horrible on the ball. Skill-wise, he doesn't have any skills in the GP card. They've added all these skills. So got one-touch pass, through passing, pinpoint crossing, some great skills going forward. And then defensively, man marking, aerial superiority. He's not the tallest. He's got a bit of a jump on him, so he'll be all right in the air, I guess. And then fighting spirit, we're just lacking interception. That's a big miss. So there are two big weaknesses with this guy. He's horrible on the ball. He's lacking interception. But outside those two weaknesses, yes, they're big weaknesses. Apart from that, though, for a 3-star card, some really good skills there. And he got a lot of very decent attributes for a 3-star. So I've got to be honest, you know, I think we had another one like this. I think it was Ishihara from Urawa Reds. He was a defensive fullback, loads of qualities. I think it was just interception he was lacking, and he was a bit horrible on the ball. And it looks like a similar situation with this guy. This is an attacking fullback, though. And it's the same thing. In general, if you're looking at cards to use in any kind of event, any mode on this game, you're going to say, well, he's not good enough on the ball, he's lacking interception. But this is a 3-star. We don't tend to get many decent 3-star options, so yes, two glaring weaknesses, but on the whole, if you look past those weaknesses, you can get by without interception. It's not absolutely crucial. And you do have a few decent defensive ones there. Certainly got a few good ones going forward. And if you're careful enough on the ball with this guy, you can just about work around the fact he's not great in possession of the ball. So if you can work around those two weaknesses, I think for a 3-star contract, loads of qualities on this guy, loads of attributes that you'd say are probably around a 5-star even. So yeah, he's obviously not a 5-star because of the weaknesses he's got, but for a 3-star contract with the qualities he has, the skills he has, yes, two glaring weaknesses, but for a 3-star contract as a right back, I think this guy's pretty good value, to be fair. Just a quick look at the other positions. He's short, not brilliant defensively, and certainly not physically. You're not going to play him at centre back. He's not overly 2-foot. He doesn't have outside curler, so I'm not sure I'd be looking to play this guy as a left back, but certainly as a right back, like I say, a couple of pretty glaring weaknesses, but it's a 3-star card, and outside those weaknesses, plenty of qualities there. I think this guy could be pretty decent value for a 3-star contract, to be honest. And we've got one more 3-star in this pack. It is Hinata Yamauchi. He has a face scan, of course. He's a creative playmaker. It's the first time I've had a feature version of him, and we've had a few positions added again. So they've added attacking midfield, they've added right midfield, and again, they've very generously made him semi-proficient right wing forward, even though you can't position train him. So yeah, got a couple of new positions there. Weaker for accuracy is +1. He's had a pretty decent boost across the board, really. And again, all the skills are new. He doesn't have any skills in his GP card, so double touch, got through passing, pinpoint crossing, so got a bit of end product there. Gamesmanship, he's a super sub, nice. Fighting spirit as well. He's a little fella, 170 centimeters, so yeah, if you look at the different positions, as an attacking midfielder, 78 low pass, yes, he's got through passing, but I don't think his passing is quite good enough to play attacking mid. You may disagree. If you feel like you can work around the passing being as low as that, good for you. You could certainly use him there. He's got a bit of pace about him, a little bit of balance. He's reasonable on the ball. Again, this is a 3-star card. You can't expect too much. Attacking awareness and finishing, not brilliant, but again, it's a 3-star. It's kind of, you know, they certainly could be worse. Some 4 and 5 stars are worse for awareness and finishing, to be honest. So yeah, I think this guy, again, it's clearly not an amazing card, but one thing I would say with this guy, when you're looking at guys who are got a bit of pace and they're decent on the ball, if they're quite short, then that low centre of gravity can make them feel just that little bit better on the ball. So this guy might not be too bad. He's a right footer, so is he better on the right or left? Lofted pass 72. Yes, he's got pinpoint crossing, but I don't think his crossing is going to be great. I think this guy's better on the left, cutting inside onto his right foot. He doesn't have long range curler. There's nothing really with his shooting there, so you're going to have to be careful not to ask too much with his shooting, but I still think as an inverted ring off the left wing, that's probably where you're going to get the most out of this guy. And like I say, you know, he's not got electric pace. He's not amazing on the ball, and certainly with the end product, they're going to have to be careful. But for a wide man, that low pass hitting 80 with the game plan boost and through passing, his through passes will be decent enough. And I think with that low centre of gravity from the left wing cutting onto his right foot, he could feel pretty decent on the ball. And he could be one where, if you do get that J-League challenge, he could be a useful option for you, certainly with the versatility as well, and as a super sub as well. So again, you know, it's for a 3-star player, you know what you're getting. He's not going to be on the same level, obviously, as the 4 or especially 5-star players, but you've got a few decent skills there. Handy to have a super sub with a bit of versatility. And with that low centre of gravity, being reasonable on the ball, that dribbling is going to go to 88 with the maximum game plan boost. Bit of pace, a little bit of balance. I reckon he could feel alright. So not an amazing card, certainly, but for a 3-star contract, he could be a handy little option for you if you get that J-League challenge. And even if you don't, and if you're new to the game, it could be a decent option, stick on your bench. So again, for a 3-star contract, maybe it's not too bad, this guy. So that's all the 3-stars in the J-League pack, but we do have one more from the J-League and a couple more outside the J-League, because in this Asian Champions League pack, we have a few more 3-stars. So we've got 3 more 3-stars. So let's start with this guy. So we got Quentin Cheng. This guy's from Malaysia. Does not have a face scan. He's quite tall for a right back. He's an attacking right back, 6'2". This is a highlight card, so we've not got the kind of changes to positions and things that we get from trending cards. Obviously, they have been starting to make a few more changes like that on highlight cards lately, but in this pack it looks like they're just straight up boosts from their GP card. We have no skills. Not a great start. So no face, no skills, standard form, and as I'm going to say probably a few times with this pack, Asian Champions League cards, generally speaking, they don't get live update. I say generally speaking, there's one from the J League, and that will obviously get live update, but no live update on this guy. No skills, no face scan, not looking great, but this is a trainable card, so we're going to jump over to eFootball Hub and we're going to see how he trains up. So where are we? eFootball Hub, where are you? There you are. Right, so Quentin Cheng, how good are you? It could be worse. So this is a 3-star, remember, so we can't expect too much of him. Kind of a similar deal to Takagi, to be honest. So horrible on the ball there. For an attacking fullback, he's not going to feel great on the ball. The passing could be worse, but you're going to have to be careful. Don't ask too much from his passing, especially without any passing skills. Defensively, he's kind of okay. I think for a 3-star, you can't expect too much more, but he's obviously not brilliant. That's just fully boosted in the game plan. Pace, pretty good. Acceleration's not amazing, but the speed is good. At over 90 in speed, you can nick a couple of points from there. And I'm going to do that because, as you see from lower body, the last 2 increases on lower body cost us 4 points each. We don't need that much, so that's going to free us 8 points. We can put elsewhere. He's got a bit of physical strength. That's good for a fullback, especially on a 3-star. Fair play. Defending, what are we going to boost? You got options. I think on the ball is where he needs it the most. You can at least get him over 70 on all his on-the-ball attributes. If you might prefer the defensive attributes, though, if you're more concerned with making him better at defending, you can at least get a couple of defensive attributes, 80 plus. Maybe stick one on. Where else would we put one? I'll put it on the ball. 2 points left there. Yeah, it's a difficult one. This is obviously a 3-star card. There's no real way to make him a good fullback. He's going to have weaknesses, whether he's horrible technically or whether he's a bit weak defensively or a bit of both. There are weaknesses there. No live update, no face scan, no skills. It's very difficult to make a case for this guy, to be honest, even for a 3-star contract. Is there a way to kind of glitch him into being pretty good in another position? I'm going to try the auto allocation for right midfield, and he is terrible. So he's quick, and that's about it. Yeah, don't even think about this guy as a right back. Could we make him a sneaky centre back? I'm hoping. Not really. So yeah, I think he's probably maybe a little bit better as a centre back than the right back. There's not much in it. You know, the defences are kind of okay-ish. Physical strength kind of okay. Decent pace, pretty good stamina, but again, no skills. So yeah, I think with this guy, you can kind of have a kind of okay-ish right back or an okay-ish centre back, but in both cases, no skills. He's not getting live update, and I've got to be brutally honest, it's very hard to make a case for this guy with a lot of these cards from the Asian Champions League pack, especially the 3-stars. I just don't see many people having much use for them, unfortunately. And next from this Asian Champions League pack, we've got Kakana Khamyok. So we've got a Thai fella, whole player, attack midfielder. First time I've had a feature version of him. He does not have a face scan. Inconsistent form. Oh, this guy does get live update because in the Thai league. Okay, so it's not just the J League guys getting live update from this pack. So yeah, we've got a whole player attacking mid. First time I've had a feature version of this guy. Inconsistent. 1 skill. It's a good skill through passing, but only 1 skill. So he's a bit lacking in the skill department. But again, these are trainable cards. Let's just jump straight over to eFootball Hub. Is this a decent card? It's a 3-star, and it is kind of okay-ish. Yeah. So okay, this time we are getting live updates, so that is 1+. But big lack of skills there. Yes, we've got probably the most important one for an attacking mid, to be honest, through passing, but there's nothing else. Is he right on the ball? Kind of. Is his passing any good? Yeah, bit iffy. Finishing not great. Attacking wares not too great. Pace not slow, but not particularly quick. There's nothing really great about this guy. Could you really train him to be any other position? Not really, to be honest. He's not really got the speed there to try and make him a wide midfielder. We'll try the auto allocation. No, and you lose a bit of the on the ball ability. You're not going to make him any good defensively. Yes, this guy's getting live updates, so that gives him a little. That's one more positive that Quentin Cheng, the first guy, didn't have. But even with live update, what are you going to use this guy for? We don't get a Thai League challenge. I don't think he's going to get many people's squads. If you rock a Thailand squad for in the national challenge or even in divisions, then yeah, he might be an option for you. But even for that, he's not a brilliant one. So I don't want to ramble on too long about this guy. He's not a great guard. I don't think it's a terrible one for a 3-star, but it's a 3-star. And the question is, what use do you have for a 3-star? And in most of these cases, sadly, the answer is not a lot. So, yeah, can't really recommend this guy, to be honest. And the last of our 3 stars is Hiroki Iikura from Yokohama Marinos. Goalkeeper, he does have a face scan, of course, because he's Japanese. He does get live update because he's a J-League player. He's 5'10", oh dear. So he's not the tallest for a goalie. Does he have any skills? He's got low punt. Well, that's a positive, I guess. So yeah, let's jump over to eFootball. Is this any good as a 3-star goalie? Max out, fully boosted. Oh dear, not really. Goalkeeper awareness, fantastic. Everything else, not fantastic. So the catching's not particularly good. The parring's not particularly good. The reflexes are terrible. Reach of 82, not particularly good. And he's 5'11". This guy is not good. Is he 5'11", 5'10", 5'11"? He's not 6 foot. He's below 6 foot, so he's short. He's not got brilliant reach. His reflexes suck. Can you retrain him, make him a bit better, bounce him out a bit? You can nick a few from awareness. How good can you get his reflexes? You can get his reflexes all the way up to 83. Wow! Yeah, this guy sucks. Again, I'm not going to ramble too long about this guy because I just don't think there's a point. If you've just got the game and you desperately need a goalie for your J-League squad, maybe he'd do right for you for now. But I think there are better GP options, to be honest. So, yeah, he's not great. He's not particularly big. He's not got good coverage of his goal. He's not got good reflexes, which are pretty important for a goalkeeper. And yes, the awareness is good, but that's it. He's got good awareness. Apart from that, he sucks. This is not a great goal, even for a 3-star contract. Yes, live update, maybe for the J-League, but yeah, like I say, honestly, it's not great. Even for a 3-star contract, I wouldn't want this guy in goal for me. It's like a liability, unfortunately. So, out of all the 3 stars, these are my recommendations. We don't have a lot to choose from, and they're not particularly great. And to be honest, I would only really recommend these 2 guys if you're still able to play the J-League Challenge. So, Takagi, like I was saying when I reviewed him, he's lacking interception. That's a big miss. It's a really important skill, and on the ball he's pretty horrible. But apart from that, he's pretty much a 5-star fullback. I might get panned for saying that, and then those are 2 major weaknesses. But outside of those weaknesses, he's got a lot of qualities, this guy. So, yeah, for a 3-star contract, for an option for your J-League squad, if you do rock a J-League squad, and even if you don't get to do the J-League Challenge, if you have a J-League squad in divisions or whatever, I mean, he might not be quite on the level you want in divisions, obviously, or in the national team challenge for your Japan squad, but for a 3-star right back, I do think it's good value. So I think primarily for the J-League Challenge, if you still get to do that, I'd recommend him as being good value for a 3-star contract. And then this fella, Yamauchi, likewise, it just comes down to the J-League Challenge. If you still get to do the J-League Challenge, could be a handy little option, especially if you stick him on the bench as a super sub. You can play right or left. I think he's best on the left, cutting onto his right foot. He's going to feel reasonable on the ball. Not got brilliant end product, so be careful with the end product, but it could be worse in that department. And like I say, I think as a little fella with the attributes he's got, it could feel alright in the ball. So if you do get the J-League Challenge still, I think these 2 guys for a 3-star contract could give you some pretty decent value. But if you don't get the J-League Challenge anymore, then I don't think there's really much use to any of these 3-star players. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is these days. And now we'll move on to the 4 stars. Let's start in Turkey. We have got 5 4 stars in here, I think. Yeah, so we've got 1 5-star Talisca, but we're going to look at these 4 stars first. Let's start with this centre back. So we have got Emirhan Topçu. So we've got a face scan. He's a destroyer centre back. He's a lefty. He can play centre back. He can play midfield, apparently, or left back. I don't know about that based on the attributes. This is a trending card. He's pre-trained. You can't train him. Interestingly, we've actually got a version of this guy in the current Turkey pack. There's some kind of, on these Showtime packs, all Turkish players. That's a 5-star card. Obviously, it's better than this one because it's a 5-star. This is a 4-star. And you can train that card as well. So if you're going to go throwing money around trying to sign Showtime players, you might get that one, in which case you get a better one. But if you don't, yeah, this is a decent version of him. We've had one other version of him that was a Player of the Month in a previous Turkish League pack. That's when he was Rizespor. He's obviously up at Besiktas now. That was a 3-star card, so obviously it's not as good as this one. So yeah, not the best version because obviously there's one that Showtime pack. But apart from that, it's the best version. And he's kind of all right in a bunch of areas. He's not amazing. Again, it's one's at 4 stars now, so they're gonna be better than the 3 stars. But you still can't expect as much as you can from a 5-star. They're not gonna be brilliant any of these cards. And they've boosted his pace a bit, his jumping, stamina. Those are the ones they boosted the most from his GP card, really. Bit of defense awareness, bit of passing as well. what have they done skill-wise? So skill-wise, you've had some good skills thrown in here. They've added heading. He's already got aerial superiority. They've thrown in heading as well. And they've added man marking, very important one, and sliding tackle. So we've got man marking, section blocker, sliding, fighting spirit and acrobatic clearance are the two that he's missing really as a centre-back. But apart from that, he's got a pretty good selection of skills there. Got most of the important ones. The pace is all right. Physical contact's kind of okay-ish. 6'2", jumping's not great. He's got aerial superiority. So on the whole, I think he's going to be kind of okay in the air, but not brilliant. Stamina's decent. And the defensive attributes, awareness and tackling, cool. Aggression, that's okay. Engagement's low though. I always say it, defensive engagement on Destroyer. If you're lacking defensive engagement and he's got the Destroyer playing style, that scares me. He's going to step out of position the way Destroyers do, and he might get caught out. That's not what you want. So, yeah, it depends on your preferences. If you like a Destroyer and you're very aggressive, you like them stepping out of defence and you think you can work around the engagement being a bit low, fair enough. But for me, that's a bit of a concern. And that's probably the main reason why this is a 4-star for me. That's one of the main reasons I wouldn't necessarily recommend this guy. But certainly there are qualities there. He's got a pretty good selection of skills. And like I say, most of the defence is pretty decent. Down the right side here, nothing particularly amazing, but pretty decent. So yeah, on the whole, pretty good. Just that slight concern over engagement, really. So there is plenty to be said for him for a 4-star contract, to be fair. You can certainly do worse than this guy. And just quickly in terms of the other positions, left back, he's not got the pace or the technicals. Any kind of midfield position, hell no. Horrible on the ball. There's no way you're going to use him anywhere else except centre back, really. But yeah, as a centre back, I don't think he's brilliant. The one real concern is the engagement. And just coupling that with the Destroyer playing style. I've had Destroyers in the past with low engagement. It just doesn't work well. They get caught out of position a bit. But outside of that, he does have quality. So obviously this is only a 4-star. I think this is one of these cards where if you still get the Turkish League Challenge, he could be a solid option. He's a pretty decent centre-back option for the Turkish League Challenge. Outside of that, debatable. I'm not sure. I think for a 4-star contract, if you like a Destroyer centre-back, he could be a decent option for you. He could give you a reasonable value. I think the best value for you though is if you do still get to take part in the Turkish League Challenge, because he could be a pretty good option for that. So not a brilliant centre back, and there's a bit of a question mark over the engagement for me. But on the whole, he does have qualities there, and he's not bad for a 4-star contract, to be fair. And next we have our first version of Carlos Mané. He has a face scan. He's a left wing forward. He can play on the left or the right. They've added right midfielder position. Interesting. They've not changed his position to right midfield, but they've added that as a fully proficient position. So you can play him down the left or down the right. You can also play him as an SS. Weaker foot accuracy has been increased a bit. What have they done from his GP card? So we've lost a bunch of points of acceleration. That's annoying. We've lost 1 point of speed. This is on auto allocation of his GP card, of course. We've lost 1 point of dribbling. Why have they done that? Why would you take one away? If you just leave it where it is when you auto allocate his GP card, then maximum game plan boost gets it to 90. But oh no, you've got to take just that 1 point away, haven't you? But they have boosted his kicking power, his stamina, his ball control is up a bit, his passing and finishing have been boosted. And most importantly, on an attacking player, his defensive ability has been boosted. Yay! And he's physically stronger as well. So, yeah, on the whole, pretty good boost. It's annoying they're taking a bunch of points of acceleration. I think we can live without that, though. He's still going 90 plus on speed and acceleration. 1 point off dribbling, though. Give me a break. That's just cruel. But still, decent enough on the ball. He's got some pace, got reasonable balance. Be careful, very careful with his passing. His low pass attribute is terrible there. Lofted and finishing are reasonable. They could be worse. They could be better. He's got inconsistent form. It's a bit of a shame, but if he's in Player of the Month, that suggests he's been getting some good form. Skill-wise, what have we got here? So they have taken away Sombrero, and they've given us pinpoint crossing and outside curler. Good. Outside curler is a good one to have. His weaker foot is strong, but he doesn't use it that often, so outside curler does help. Through passing will improve his passing, but like I said, low pass 70. Yikes. Be careful still. He's not going to have a great pass on him. Got some shooting skills. Long range curler, long range shooting, first time shot. And his finishing attribute 76, so he's not great at finishing, but with those skills, he should be reasonable. He's a super sub as well. Soul control up there. Okay, so we've got quite a few decent skills there. I think there's quite a lot to be said for this guy as a 4-star, actually. He's looking decent. 173 centimeters. He's not tiny, but he should have a reasonably low center of gravity. I reckon he's going to feel all right on the ball. He's not got amazing on the ball attributes. His balance isn't amazing either, but he's not terrible in those areas. The pace is good. Quite like the look of this guy, to be honest, for a 4-star. Right-footed. You're going to use him on the right. He's got pinpoint crossing, 76 lofted pass. He's not going to have a great cross on him, even with pinpoint crossing, but you could use him on the right. You could certainly get away with him that way. But I think wide left is probably the way most people would want to use this guy. With the shooting skills he's got, including long-range curler, which is an important one. Finishing 76, having a bit of pace, being decent on the ball. I think cutting into off the left wing onto his right foot. This guy could be pretty handy, especially as a super sub. So, yeah, I think this guy, one of the first 4-stars we're looking at, but I can see myself recommending this guy. I think for a 4-star contract, especially if you get the Turkish League Challenge, he's versatile, he's a super sub, got some decent attributes there. I think for a pacey, tricky winger, he might not be on the level of a lot of 5-star wingers, but I think he could be a pretty handy one. For the Turkish League Challenge, could be a fantastic option. But even if you don't get the Turkish League Challenge, I think this guy could be handy enough. He could be a reasonable option. Obviously, if you've been playing the game a while, you've got a lot of legends and so on, he's not going to get anywhere near a squad, let's be honest. But if that's not the case, if you're new to the game, or if you like using different players, you like rocking different squads, doing a Turkish League, Super League squad, for example, I think for a 4-star contract, there's quite a bit of quality with this guy, and he could be a decent one to pick up. And next we have this guy. Shall I try and pronounce that? Yes, why not? Hajradinović. There you go, it wasn't too hard. The only Harris I care about is Haris Fukic, the former Newcastle youngster. What a talent he was, ruined by injuries. But yeah, we've got Haris Hajradinović this time. He has a face scan. He's a creative playmaker. They've changed that. He's normally a classic number 10. They've added right midfield as a position. He doesn't normally have that. And we've had 1 or 2 versions of this guy actually before. So we've had a player of the week version that was a whole player, had better passing. So that was better as an attacking midfielder than this one, although it didn't have as much pace as this one, so it wasn't as good out wide, or it didn't have the dribbling either that this one does. There's one in a Turkish Super League pack that was a classic 10, around about the same level, with stats kind of shuffled around a bit. Again, better as an attacking midfielder, not so good out wide, same reasons. And there's one in some kind of legend pay-to-win box, possibly a Turkish player of the season pack from the end of last season, something like that. That's the best version we've had of him, mainly with the passing being as good as it was. So a few different versions of this guy. But we've got a right midfield creative playmaker version now. And what they changed from his GP card, so they've taken a bunch of points away from his low pass. That's very annoying. So he's still got attacking midfield, which is where he normally plays. But he's not got the passing to be able to do it there. If you don't mind the low pass being as low as 80, then fair enough, we can still use him attacking mid. But for me, that low pass is way too low. So they've killed his passing. Thanks for that, Konami. But they have boosted him in a bunch of areas. His attacking awareness is up a bit. It's still terrible though. His finishing's been boosted. Again, that's still not particularly great. A bit more speed and acceleration, a bit more balance. They boosted attributes that certainly needed boosting, but it's still not great. And of course, an attacking player has had his defensive attributes boosted. Excellent. A bit more physical contact as well. Yeah, on the whole, kind of looking okay. Got a few decent attributes, but there are a few iffy ones as well. What have they done skill-wise? We've lost knuckle shot and I think acrobatic finishing. Bit of a shame. We've gained double touch and fighting spirit. Yeah, so not the most exciting change, but in terms of what he's got, regardless of what's new, long-range curler, long-range shooting, one-touch pass, through passing, pinback crossing, he's got a bit of end product skill-wise, but the finishing's not going to be brilliant, so don't ask too much from his shooting. Even with 1 or 2 shooting skills there, his shooting won't be brilliant, but it will be decent. And passing-wise, yes, one touch and through, but nerfing his low pass down to 80. Be careful with the passing. Like I say, if you use him as an attacking mid, you can certainly still use him as an attacking mid. He's got the position, but I think most people, including me, would say that 80 is too low for low pass, even with the passing skills. But if you do think that's enough, good for you, because he's got some other qualities. Certainly that lofted pass at 88. You're going over 90 with the maximum game plan boost on lofted pass. Got a bit of curl and some kicking power as well. This guy's crossing looks like it's going to be very, very good. He's got pinback crossing. He's going to have a fantastic cross on him, really good cross on him. So you're looking at the positions, you're thinking, okay, where's he going to be best? If you're going to play him out wide, he's not the quickest. He's okay on the ball. The dribbling is going to get to 88 with the maximum gameplay boost. He's not a dribbler, I don't think, by any means. He's not got a lot of physical strength or balance, so he's not going to be brilliant on the ball on the whole. But if you don't mind a slight lack of pace in a wide man, and if you don't mind the creative playmaker playing style out wide as well, from the right wing, cutting his side into his left foot, he can cross it for sure. But he's got the shooting skills. He's going to have a decent long range curler. You could use him wide right. Through the middle, like I say, if we don't mind the low pass being as low as it is, he could be reasonable. You know, he's going to have a decent enough shot on him. Certainly his lofted passes will be good. I mean, the lofted through balls, one touch pass, through passing. Oh, he's not got weight pass. I thought he had weighted. He's not. So, yeah, lofted pass will be good. But yeah, the low pass, I think, for me, probably kills him a bit as an attacking mid. But I'm just wondering with this guy, left midfield. Yes, he's not the quickest, but I just wonder, is that where you're going to get the most value out of him? If you like to put crosses in, a lot of people are spamming crosses at the moment. I always mention Beckham with this type of winger. Obviously, I'm not suggesting he's anywhere near the level of Beckham in terms of ability, but that style of winger, not the quickest, not amazing on the ball, but he can certainly get the ball under control and he can get a cross away. If you don't mind the lack of pace on the winger, and if you're looking to get a lot of cross into the box for your big strikers, that could be the way you get value out of this guy, because his crossing is going to be really, really good. He's got pinpoint crossing, he's got the lofted pass and kicking power hitting 90, he's got a bit of curl on him as well, which does help with crossing. He's going to have a really fantastic cross on him. So if you don't mind the fact he's not the quickest, he's not amazing on the ball, I think if you use him that way as a left winger, he could be really effective for you. Outside of that, I think it's debatable how much value you get from him through the middle or as a right winger. You could use him both ways and have a bit of joy with him. He's got some decent skills there. He's got some decent attributes. I just don't think he's that great in those positions. But again, it may just come down to the Turkish League Challenge. If you're still allowed to take part in that Turkish League Challenge, could be a decent option. He's versatile, left, right, or centre. He's got some skills. He's got some ability. Could be useful one to pick up, especially as a left winger though. And I think outside the Turkish League Challenge, that's the one position where you could get value out of him. Just in general, putting him on the left wing, yes, he's not the quickest, but you get the ball out to him when he's in a crossing position. He can put a devilish cross in for you. So in that way, you could find some real value from this guy. Outside of that, it's not an amazing card, but like I say, depends if you get the Turkish League Challenge, depends on if he's your kind of left winger, but for some people, this could be a handy card to pick up for sure. And next we have Sander van der Streek. Streek. I'll be honest, I have no idea who this guy is. He's a whole player, left midfield. He's normally an attacking midfielder. This is the first time I've had a version of this guy. So they've changed him from attacking midfield to left midfield. They've added left midfield and right midfield as well. So he can play left, right, or centre. He does not have a face scan. Not sure if we'll get one. Hopefully he will do if you sign this guy. But yeah, unwavering form, albeit he's an E at the moment. But yeah, again, if he's in the Player of the Month pack in Turkey, that suggests he's been getting some pretty decent form. But yeah, what have they done with this guy from his GP Garden? So they boosted him a bit. Okay, so we've got an attacking player who's actually had his dribbling boosted for once. That's nice. So they put a bit on his dribbling and his tight possession. We've lost a bit off low and lofted pass. That's annoying. Boosted his finishing though. His pace and his kicking power have been boosted a bit. And of course, an attacking player has had his defensive ability boosted. Awesome. And his physical contact, which is probably more useful. So yeah, decent boost on the whole. What have they done skill-wise? We've had a bunch of skills added here. So long range shooting's new, long range curler's new, through passing is new, and pinpoint crossing is new. Interesting. So we've got some shooting skills, we've got through passing, and we've got the crossing. Does he have the attributes though? Possibly questionable. I think his finishing is going to be decent, to be fair. Long range curler, long range shooting, first time shot, 82 finishing before your game plan boost. Yeah, this guy can shoot. Passing wise, depends where you use him. Again, are you going to use the guy as an attack midfielder when he's got 78 for low pass? No, not me. I mean, you could do, like I said, with Hajradinović, if you think that passing attribute's okay, if you can work around that. Certainly, if you play manual, might be a problem for you. He's got through pass. Excuse me, he's got through passing, not one touch pass though. If you can work around the low pass attribute, yeah, he could be an option for you there, but he's not brilliant on the ball. And apart from that, yeah, I don't know. There's some ability there. As a whole player, the attack Merson is going to hit 80 with the game plan boost. Finishing's already over 80. As I mentioned, he's got pretty decent finishing. So as an attacking mid, if you focus more on his shooting than his passing, he'll be getting into good positions as a whole player. So he could be decent as an attacking mid, I guess, if shooting's going to be more of your focus. As a wide man, not got a great deal of pace. He's not great on the ball. He's going to have an okay cross on him, an okay through ball on him. Certainly got decent finishing. You could use him on the right, you could use him on the left. It's not a terrible card. I just don't think he's really great in any area. I think through the middle, the passing's a real letdown. Out wide, he's not really got the pace or the dribbling. So yeah, there's a bit of end product on him, but on the whole, I think it's borderline for me. I think if you get the Turkish League Challenge, it could be an alright option for you. But even for the Turkish League Challenge, I'm not sure this is a great card. Outside the Turkish League Challenge, got a bit of end product, some decent attributes, but on the whole for me, it's a pretty unexciting card, to be honest. It's not a great one for me. And our last 4-star from the Turkish League, we've got Kutucu again. We had him previously in a Turkish League pack. So that previous one was a left midfielder. He had the creative playmaker playing style. He had absolutely crazy pace, and he had not much beyond that. It wasn't a particularly great card for me. This one's got more awareness, finishing, kicking power, and stamina than that one. and it's a deep line forward this time, this card. He's not got left midfield, he's a centre forward. He's normally a prolific winger, so he's got his normal positions. He's normally a prolific winger right wing. He's now a deep line forward, centre forward on this card. They boosted mainly his passing, his finishing, and his stamina. Lost a little bit of pace, and you're not going to believe this, but another attacking player has had his defending attributes boosted. Excellent. That's really great news. And physical contact up a bit as well. And skill-wise, through passing, that's about it. And then other than that, he's got his usual skills, but he does have a good selection of skills. Like first time shot, long range curler, long range shooting, acrobatic finishing. He's a super sub, got fighting spirit. The question is, does this guy work as a deep line forward or as a right winger? Basically, there's the two ways you can use him. He's got a face scan, by the way, before I forget. For me, attacking awareness 81. He's not getting anywhere near any of my squads as a centre forward with 81 attacking awareness. He's got good shooting skills. The finishing attribute could be worse. He's not brilliant. He's okay on the ball. The passing's all right for a centre forward, but with a deep line forward playing style, though, he's going to be dropping deep, getting involved in the build-up. Yes, he's got through passing, but I would say his passing's still a bit on the low side for me. Got pretty good pace, to be fair. Deep line forward has as much pace as you need. Kicking power's all right. A little bit of physical strength. Balance is not brilliant. There are a few decent attributes there, but for me, on the whole, as a deep line forward, yes, if you like that playing style, he could be a pretty good option, especially for the Turkish League Challenge, but to be honest, pretty good maybe is an exaggeration. He could be usable. Inconsistent form. Yeah, he's not a brilliant card, this. As a right wing forward, pace, yeah, he's quick enough. On the ball, nah. Sure, he can shoot, but he's a right foot on the right hand side. He's not great in the ball. I don't think anyone's going to really use this guy as a right winger. You're going to look at this guy very much as a centre forward, in which case he's a deep line forward. He's got some qualities, but the attack awareness sucks. He's not great on the ball. His passing is not great. Honestly, good set of skills there. And there may be some people, especially as a super sub option, who might find that this guy, if you like the deep line forward playing style, is a useful one, especially in that Turkish League Challenge. But I think for the most part, most people would look at this card and probably feel the same as me, which is that it's not a brilliant card, to be honest. I don't really see much value to come from this guy, even for a 4-star contract, really. So that is all the 4 stars from the Turkish League. We have got a couple in Japan, or we've got 3 in Japan. How many have we got in Japan? 3. We've got 3. So let's start with Daichi Tagami, who plays for Fagiano Okayama, just been promoted to J1. He has a face scan. He's a destroyer centre-back. He is short for a centre-back. He can play left-back and right-back. Is it the first time I've had a version of him? Yes, it is. It's the first feature version we've had of this guy. He's normally a build-up. They changed him to a destroyer. They've given him a bit of a boost to his pace and stamina, of course. They always do that on trending centre-backs. They put a bit on his passing as well. And that's about it, really, for the boost. Skill-wise, they've added first-time shot. Excellent. That's exactly what you need in a centre-back. They've added man marking as well, though. Aerial superiority, blocker. Okay, good. We've got some good skills there, but where's interception? That's the one big miss here. So heading and aerial, we definitely need those because he's not tall. Man marking, blocker, great. Fighting spirit's good, but yeah, interception's the one big miss there. There's 1 or 2 others as a centre-back is missing. Acrobatic clearance, maybe sliding tackle. But yeah, interception's a big miss there. Defensive attributes, I mean, awareness and aggression are pretty good. They're both hitting 90 with the maximum game plan boost. Engagement, kind of okay-ish. Tackling a little bit on the low side. Pace, kind of okay. The jumping's pretty good in itself, but what's he, 5'10", 5'11"? Yikes. Yeah, you're going to get found out if your opponent's got tall strikers if he starts putting crosses into the box. Physical strength, decent. On the ball, absolutely horrendous. And the passing's not great. So, yeah, very much a 4-star sense about this guy. And yeah, I don't think there's a great deal more to add to that. I mean, he's got right back and left back, but he's not really got the pace to play full back. He's absolutely horrendous technically. So he's very much a centre back. And I think what you're looking at really is a kind of all right centre back who's a bit lacking in the air, and he's lacking arguably the most important skill for a centre back, which is interception. Certainly one of the most important ones. So you've got some real drawbacks on this guy. If you're desperately lacking centre back options for the J League Challenge, could be worth picking up if you've got the 4-star contract to spare. But outside of that, lacking interception, lacking in height, and the attributes aren't that exciting, especially the tackling being a bit low. Yeah, all things considered, there are some reasonable strengths to this guy, but on the whole, the lack of height, the lack of interception, even for a 4-star contract, I can't really recommend him that strongly, to be honest. It's not a great one for me. And our next 4-star in Japan, we've got Sho Fukuda. He has a face scan. He's a centre forward goal poacher. His weaker foot accuracy has been increased a bit. We've had a previous version of this guy. There's one in some kind of J-League Legend or Showtime pack. Similar level to this one in terms of overall ability. Stats on it shuffled around a little bit. That one didn't have any skills though. This one does. They've added all these skills from his GP card, so that's good. First time shot, long range curler, long range shooting, outside curler helps, fighting spirit as well. Yeah, outside curler does help. So his weaker foot is quite strong, but when it comes to outside curler, you got to look at the weaker foot usage. You could have the full strength in your weaker foot, but if you're never going to use it, you need outside curler. He rarely uses weaker foot, so outside curler is a good addition there. He's got some good shooting skills as well. And he's kind of all right-ish. Yeah, he doesn't look too bad. So what they boosted him on the ball, passing, finishing, speed, kicking power, stamina, boosted loads. But most importantly on a striker, they boosted his defensive ability. Yay! We've lost a bunch of points of acceleration and balance. That's very annoying. But yeah, they have given him a pretty decent boost on the whole. Again, though, you look at these 4 stars, you're thinking, okay, what are you going to use him for? If you still get to take part in the J-League challenge, he could be a decent option for that. Beyond that, I'm not sure, a bit iffy. But I think what you got with this guy really is a guy who, for a goal poacher centre forward, is decent on the ball. His passing's not too bad. But everywhere else, he's kind of just 4-star level, really. You know, attacking awareness and finishing at 84 is not brilliant, but could be worse. Pace, it's not electric, but certainly could be worse. Kicking power is kind of okay, kind of average. The physical strength and balance, fairly average. Stamina, he's kind of just all right in every area, really, to be honest. So I can't say there's anything bad about this card. He's got a good selection of skills there. And everything's kind of all right. It's just, you know, obviously for a striker, generally speaking, you want him to be better than all right. You want him to be good in certain areas. But for a 4-star contract, I think he represents reasonable value. I think it's one of these cards where if you're new to the game, if you need centre forward options, he could certainly do it right for you. If you still get to take part in the J-League challenge, you don't have a lot of beefy kind of Showtime cards in attacking areas, then he could definitely be a decent option for that. There's nothing particularly great about him, but like I said, there's nothing particularly bad either. He's reasonably short, so he's got a fairly low centre of gravity. I reckon for a centre forward, he's going to feel all right on the ball. And like I say, awareness, finishing, pace, nothing's amazing, but nothing's too bad either. So I can't say this is a great card. But I think for a 4-star contract, you certainly could do worse. And especially for the J-League challenge, he could be alright for you. So yeah, not an amazing card, but for a 4-star contract, he could do worse than this guy. And the last 4-star from the J-League, we got Sota Kitano. He's had a good start to the season. With those in D form from last week, he didn't really perform last week. I watched that one. He's got a face scan. He's fairly short, 172. Whole player attacking midfielder. Normally a roaming flank. They've added attacking midfield and SS as positions. Made him a whole player. So he's got a few positions he can play here. He's a right footer. He can play wide on the right as a forward, or he can play as a kind of number 10 attacking mid or SS, or he can play as a centre forward. We've had one previous version of this guy. Went to a similar level. That was again in some kind of J-League Legend or Showtime pack. Stats kind of shuffled around. But yeah, this is a decent version of Kitano. They boosted his end product quite a bit, the passing and finishing. They've also put a few points on his ball control, his kicking power, his stamina. And would you believe it, an attacking player has had his defensive attributes boosted. Excellent. And physical contact. Skill-wise, everything is new again. So no skills in the GP card. We've got a bunch of skills added to him. So we've got long range curl, long range shooting, first time shot. So we've got some great shooting skills, through passing, pinpoint crossing, fighting spirit. So in product wise, got a bit of everything. Certainly with the shooting, fighting spirit's a nice one to have. Finishing 80. Yeah, the question is, where are you going to play this guy? Because if you play this guy as a centre forward, whatever skills he's got, attacking awareness 80, finishing 80, not great. For me, I would not play him as a centre forward. If you don't mind the finishing and attacking awareness being only 80, then sure, you got qualities here. Good on the ball, very nice passing for a centre forward, decent pace. He's got some good skills, but yeah, for me personally, I imagine for most people, the awareness and finishing are too low for centre forward. Wide right, again, you got another one in his cards where they've added pinpoint crossing, but his lofted pass is still only 73. He's not going to have a great cross on him. I wouldn't want him as a right winger. He's not brilliant on the ball either. So for me, I'm looking at that number 10 kind of area of the pitch. Attacking mid or SS, could you put him there? I don't think the passing is really good enough as an attacking midfielder. Again, if you think it is, he's got qualities elsewhere. He could be a decent attacking mid hole player if he can work around that low pass being as low as it is. SS for me, I think is probably the way that I would use this guy. one thing to keep in mind with an SS, you can position him as a left wing forward and then change his position to SS. You can play an SS as wide as you want. So you could have him wide left as an SS, cutting in onto his right foot, long range curler, long range shooting, first time shot, finishing's 80 before your game plan boost. That could be the way to use this guy as a wide left SS. He's got a bit of pace about him. He's not brilliant on the ball, but he could be worse. And like I say, the awareness and the finishing, that whole player playing style will be active as an SS. Wherever you put the SS on the pitch, that will be active. So he'll be making good runs into the box, into attacking positions from wide left, or if you're playing as an SS, just behind the attack. So I think as an SS, just outside of the attack, the passing is not quite as important there as it is as an attacking midfielder. He's definitely got some finishing with 80 finishing before the game plan boost and those shooting skills. He's kind of okay on the ball. He's got a bit of pace about him. Yeah, it could be reasonable, this guy. I think this is one where, again, for the J-League challenge, he could give you some decent value. A couple of ways you could use him. I think he's got a bit of end product, certainly with the shooting. With the through passing skill and low pass 78, depending where you play him. I think if you play him in those attacking positions, his passing will be alright. Not so much attacking midfield, but I think in that kind of area just behind the attack, he's not going to be brilliant, but he could give you some value for that J-League challenge. Outside the J-League challenge, bit of a stretch, but certainly some qualities there. He could be alright for you, I guess, but I don't know. I think outside the J-League challenge, you could find him a bit limited, but yeah, certainly if you do still get that J-League challenge, I think this guy has got one or two ways you could use him, and he's got a little bit of end product about him, so it could be alright for you for a 4-star contract. So that's all the 4 stars from Japan. Now let's move on to the Asian Champions League pack, because we've got some 4 stars in here. And we're going to start with, these are 3 stars. Let's start with Tyronne, the Spanish midfielder. So this guy's a classic number 10. Again, these cards in the Asian Champions League pack are pretty straightforward highlight cards. They've just boosted them from the GP cards. Not a lot of change to their kind of profile and stuff, the playing styles. He's got a face scan, this guy. Let's jump over to eFootball Hub. Let's just see how well he trains up. So, all maxed out as a 4-star. How good is he? Meh, he's reasonable. Decent on the ball, decent passing. Attacking awareness, decent. Finishing, not great. Pace, nah, kind of average. Bit of kicking power about him. Not a lot of balance. No real physical strength. Not much stamina. You don't need much stamina on a Classic 10. A Classic 10 will run forward and just kind of stay there. They do not track back. They don't tend to get tired. So that stamina may actually be okay on this guy. Albeit, it depends where you play him. You've got a few positions you can use this guy in. Classic 10 will be active, attacking midfield, and SS. It will not be active if you play him as a centre forward or a centre midfielder or in any wide position. Skill-wise, they've not added anything except for goalkeeper long throw, according to eFootball Hub. I think that might be an error. So yeah, what he's got Marseille turn, 1 touch and through, penalty specialist. So end product-wise, we've just got the passing really. 2 very important ones, of course, 1 touch and through, but not a lot beyond that. Would I do much with the way the points are allocated? Not really. There aren't really enough points to really kind of reduce any area in order to improve him elsewhere. So I wouldn't do a lot as an attacking mid or an SS really. I'd leave him pretty much like that. Could you make him a striker? I'm not sure. Not really. That's auto allocation. Is that the kind of build you want in a striker? I mean, you could nick some points from dribbling. Can you make him any good? You can't make him any good, can you? He's not brilliant. Centre midfielder. I don't think he's going to be good enough defensively. Nope. No, he's very much what he is in auto allocation as an attacking mid. Decent on the ball, decent passing, 1 touch from through, but I'm going to say the same thing again with this pack. You're not getting live update from this guy. There's no league challenge to use him in. So what are you going to use him for? Is this going to get in your squad for divisions? I mean, if you're new to the game, maybe could be an option for you, but I think the vast majority of people would say he's not going to be much use to in divisions or any kind of challenge. I mean, if you rock a Spanish squad from the national team challenge, maybe you could use him for that. Possibly, I guess. He's trainable, so you could give him some skills and stuff. Could you make him a wide midfielder? I'll just quickly try that. I don't think you can. I'll just go auto allocation on the left midfield. Not really. Not brilliant. I mean, he's all right, but, you know, his pace is all right. Decent on the ball. Decent passing out wide. You don't need that much passing out wide. Bit more finishing. I don't know. Is he worth position training? Again, I don't think so. I think what you're basically looking at here is a kind of okay-ish attacking midfielder who's just not really got a lot of use because there's no live update, no league challenge. Maybe if you rock a Spain squad, it'd be decent for that. But if you rock a Spain squad, you've probably got a lot better options than this guy. So it's not a terrible card, but I just don't see a great deal of use. So even for a 4-star contract, I'm not sure I can see many people getting a lot of value out of him, unfortunately. And next we have Cho Yu-Min. So we have a build-up centre-back. We've got a face scan. Plays for Sharjah FC. No live update on this guy. He's got unwavering form though, so that's good. We are lacking skills. Got heading and aerial, which he needs because he's only 6 foot, not tall, not particularly tall for centre-back. Blocker's a good one, but where's the rest? We're lacking a lot of defensive skills. But again, it's a trainable card. Let's go just jump over to eFootball Hub. Let's see how good this card is. So when he's all fully boosted up, he's kind of all right. But do you want a kind of all right centre-back who's desperately lacking skills? No, I don't either. I don't think I'm going to be talking too long about this guy. So down the left, he's not particularly great. Defensively, awareness is fantastic, but the rest isn't. Pace is decent enough. Jumping's good, but again, in isolation, 90 jumping, thinking, okay, great, but he's only 6 foot. Yes, he's got aerial, but he's not going to be great in the air. What's the vertical reach saying? 272. It's not bad, but it's not brilliant. Physical contact 85, fully boosted is not great. Stamina's decent. So yeah, you've got a few attributes that are decent, 1 or 2 good. I mean, the awareness is good, but even for a 4-star contract, do you want a centre back who's got the weaknesses this guy's got? And you're going to put the skills on him? He's not getting live update. It's just not enough good about this guy really for me, even for a 4-star contract. You've got other positions there. Could he make him a defensive mid? I doubt it. I'll just see what the auto allocation says. Absolutely not. Centre mid? God no. Yikes. Right back? Really defensive right back? Not really. No, he's very much a centre back. And yes, there's 1 or 2 qualities there. But again, there's no league challenge you can use this guy in. The Iraqi career squad could be an alright option for that. But the lack of skills, the lack of use for this guy, I can't spend too much time talking about him. He's just really not a particularly great card, even for a 4-star contract, unfortunately. And next up is Hussein Ali. So we've got a creative playmaker. He's from Iraq. He's a right wing forward. He can also play attacking mid and left mid. Got a few skills there, but nothing really for his end product, which is a bit of a shame. We've had one previous version of this guy. Let's just jump over to eFootball Hub first. In fact, I'll just check first. Yeah, no face scan, unfortunately. I say unfortunately, that is unfortunate, because I've got a version of this guy, and that's what I was about to say. We'll jump over to eFootball Hub. So we'll train this guy up, all maxed out. We've got some qualities on this guy. And like I say, I've got the previous version. There's a previous version from an Iraq pack. And I've not used them a great deal. I've mainly used them against the AI. But one thing with this guy is he's tiny. He's 162 centimeters. He's pretty good on the ball. He's got a bit of pace. He's got fantastic acceleration, fantastic balance. He's one of these tiny little players who feels really fun on the ball. So that's why I said with the face scan, it's unfortunately it's not got one, because I've been waiting for him to get one. I've still got that one from the Iraq pack. I can't lie to you and say that I'm waiting for him to get a face scan because I want to use him in divisions and use him in my main squad. I'm not sure he's quite on that level. What you do find on eFootball these days, with the way that physical contact works, when you've got a tiny player whose physical contact's as low as that, you're going to get absolutely bodied for the most part. But he's still fun to use. That's the thing with this guy. I've got, like I say, that version I've used him quite a bit against AI, and he is fun. He's small, he's nimble, he's really nippy and quick. He's pretty decent on the ball. Yes, he's a bit lacking in end product, but he's just one of these cards. He's a bit fun to use. So I'm not going to recommend this guy, to use competitively. I'm not going to say that it's going to give you great value if you put him in his squad and start using him in divisions and so on. There's a lot of things that are bad about this guy. He's too weak. He's lacking in product. He's lacking skills. He doesn't get live update. He's not got a face scan. But like I say, for a 4-star contract, if you just want to pick someone up, it's a bit of fun, mainly just to use against the AI. He could be a fun one for you to pick up. If a lot of us have got a decent Chanatip Songkrasin card, like the Legend one especially. He's bigger than Chanatip Songkrasin, but he feels similar. Like I say, it's that really low centre of gravity, being as tiny as he is. So again, with all these AFC Champions League cards, or most of them, not all of them, but most of them, you're not getting live update. There's not a league challenge that most of them can be used in. So there's really limited use for them, limited value to be got from them. But like I say, as much as there are the usual kind of downsides to a card from this pack that you'll find with this guy, the fact that he's tiny and he feels pretty fun on the ball, he could be worth picking up for that reason. So competitively, divisions and so on, hell no. But it's a fun card, and he's very similar to that previous one that I've got. The one that I've got, same kind of level overall, just a few stats kind of shuffled around a bit. They've kind of boosted the speed and kicker bar the most on this one, so he's got a bit more speed and kicker bar than my one. And I can tell you straight away, even though I'm probably never going to use him competitively online, I mean, maybe I'll throw him in divisions here and there, but even though I'm rarely going to use him online, I'm going to get this card and I'm going to just use it as a straight upgrade from mine because it's a bit more speed and kick and power. I think there's 1 or 2 on the ball attributes that aren't quite as high in this one, but on the whole, with the speed and kick and power, I think that does give him a boost. But yeah, I'm not going to ramble on about this guy. If you just want cards, you're going to be competitive and improve your squad online, it's probably not your guy. The live update, the lack of league challenges, there's plenty of reasons not to get this guy. Lack of skills, the list goes on. But if you're looking at options, you've got 4-star nominate contracts to burn, and you don't know who to pick up, and no one's really appealing to you. Give this guy a try. He's tiny, he's nimble, he feels fun on the ball, and even if it's just against the AI, you can at least have a bit of fun with him for a 4-star contract. And the next 4-star from this pack is Leung Kwun Chung. Have I said that right? We've got a defensive fullback from Hong Kong. He does not have a face scan. He only has a couple of skills: weighted passing, pinpoint crossing. Got a few positions. Again, though, no live update on this guy. So I'm not confident this guy's going to be great. But let's jump over to eFootball Hub. We'll find out for sure. So all maxed out, trained up, boosted, etc. It's not too bad, to be fair. He's not too bad as a defensive left back. So pace, again, you got the speed but not the acceleration. But on the whole, I think he's quick enough. Physical strength maybe he's a little bit lacking for a defensive fullback. Balance is decent. Stamina's good. Defensive attributes, pretty okay. Not amazing, but they're not bad. Could be worse. On the ball, the low pass is probably the one biggest concern. Now, he's not brilliant on the ball, but again, this is a defensive fullback. I think for a defensive fullback, he's all right. So yeah, in terms of the attributes, he's reasonable. He's not too bad, but he's lacking skills. You know, weighted passing, pinpoint crossing, going forward, good, but going forward on a defensive fullback, it doesn't really happen, does it? So yeah, I'm not sure this guy is going to be too great for many people. I mean, if you're from Hong Kong, if you support the team he plays for, then yeah, you're obviously going to grab this guy, in which case I would say put a few skills. I mean, you could have a pretty reasonable defensive fullback on your hands. I think for a 4-star, pretty decent. But what use are you going to get out of him? Like I say, if you don't support the club he plays for, if you're not from Hong Kong, who's going to want this guy? Is there a league challenge you can use him in? No. Is he getting a live update? No. Has he got all the skills he needs? No. So yeah, not a great one again for me, unfortunately, from this pack. Are there any other positions you could kind of train him for? Get glitch centre back maybe? Defensive's good. Physical contact, absolutely not. Defensive midfield, and again, the skills would be a disaster situation. He's desperately lacking skills for a centre back. Defensive mid, a bit of a stretch for me. Not great on the ball. Again, physical contact very important in the area of the pitch. So yeah, I think you've got a guy here who, yes, in terms of the attributes as a defensive fullback, he's actually decent for a 4-star, but he's lacking skills, and I just don't see the vast majority of people having any real use for this guy. So he's not a bad one. If you gave him the skills, he could be useful, but it's just a question of when he would be useful, and for the vast majority of people, like I say, that's going to be never. So unfortunately, I can't really recommend this guy even for a 4-star contract. And our last 4-star, we've got Guilherme Bissoli, who plays for Buriram in Thailand. Doesn't have a face scan. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets one at some point. Box in the box, unwavering form. He does get live update playing in the Thai league. Skill-wise, long range curler, first-time shot. Yeah, he's got a decent searching skills. There's not many here, not many there, but some of the most important skills for centre forward, to be fair. Let's jump over to eFootball Hub again, though. Let's see how good this card is. So, how good is Bissoli? Max him out, all boosted up. He's reasonably tidy, to be fair. Reasonably tidy. So this guy's been absolutely tearing it up in the Thai league since he joined the Buriram about maybe a year and a half ago. He's scoring a lot of goals. He's been a really good player there for them. So yeah, live update wise, as you can see here, plenty of A's and B's. So yeah, this isn't a bad card for a 4-star, to be fair. As you can see from the attributes, awareness is hitting the 90 mark, finishing almost. Not the quickest, but he's a fox in the box. Speed not too important. He's got very decent acceleration though, got a bit of kicking power, a bit of balance, a little bit of physical strength. And like I say, he's got a few skills. Oh, he's got a goalkeeper long throw as well, apparently. It's eFootball Hub bit making an error again. But yeah, first time shot, long range curler and accurate finishing. Heel trick's a nice one to have. I mean, if you're going to get this guy and give him skills, I think outside curler, heading, aerial superiority, maybe those I'll give him. Fox and Box are good playing style for getting on the end of crosses. They time their runs really well. But yeah, he's looking pretty decent, this guy. Could you get his finishing to the 90 mark? I mean, if you wanted to really focus on the finishing and the awareness, you just want to score goals with his feet, forget the aerial, you could just do that. There's 1 point left there. Actually, if you take that point away from passing, you can actually nudge his on the ball attributes up a bit, get the dribbling and tight possession to 80. Yeah, if you're not bothered about the physical and aerial side of his game, I would say do that. Awareness and finishing, yeah, on the ball, yeah, not brilliant, but all right. Passing's not great. Like I say, with the pace, the speed's not brilliant, but on a fox in the box, that's not too big of a problem. The acceleration is good. I think on the whole, for a 4-star, as a fox in the box, this guy's all right. He's a kind of an all right option. The thing, it's just a question of when you're going to use him, because again, there's no league challenge to use this guy, and there's no Thai league challenge. We did once have a Thai league challenge, I think. Did we? Have I got that wrong? I seem to remember there was one once ages ago, and then it just disappeared, and they never did it again because obviously they don't want to give us any kind of content to actually enjoy the game. But yeah, no challenges to use this guy, and so are you going to use him in your Brazil squad? If you rock a Brazil squad, I imagine most people have got better Brazilian strikers at this point. You're going to use him in divisions. Again, highly unlikely. If you're very new to the game, then maybe be a useful option for you. But certainly, as a 4-star striker, he's all right. He's got some qualities there. He's got a few good skills. If you wanted to do more of an aerial build, you could maybe just leave the finishing and attacking awareness at 88 and try and beef up his aerial there. Can we get him up to... We can get him over 80 for jumping. Nick that back as well. In fact... yeah. No, I'll just put that back on his on-the-ball attributes. So you can get his vertical reach up to... Oh, wow. 170, 100... I didn't think his vertical reach would be that bad. So he's 175 centimeters. He's not big. Jumping over 82, but still vertical reach only at 258. Yeah. I think, to be honest, I wouldn't bother doing that. I'd forget trying to make him decent in the air. I'll just leave him pretty much as he was before. I think that's exactly it. So, yeah. I don't think you're going to be able to make this guy great in the air, even if the playing style works well for getting the crosses. He's not going to have the vertical reach really to make him good in the air. But as an all-rounder of a centre forward, yes, not the quickest, but fox in the box, not overly important. He's got some acceleration at least. He's okay on the ball. Awareness and finishing it in 90 if you train him this way. I think for a 4-star, looking at it in isolation, pretty solid option. It's just that, and he does get live update playing in the Thai League, and as I said, plenty of A's and B's there. But like I say, the question is what you're going to use him for. Brazil squad, I'm not sure many would consider him good enough for that. Divisions, certainly don't think many would consider him good enough for that. So if you're new to the game, maybes. If you rock a Brazil squad, you desperately need more striker options, maybes. He does get a lot of form. He is pretty good in terms of his overall ability for a 4-star. It's just I don't think there's that much use for this guy for many people. So yeah, solid enough in isolation. Not a bad card at all, but I just don't think it's going to be that useful for many people. So 4-star recommendations. There's a whole bunch on the screen here, and that's not me suggesting there are a lot of great options. I don't think it's a brilliant selection in terms of how good they are. I just think it's hard to really pick out any one or two cards that are that great compared to the rest of them. There are a bunch out of the Asian Champions League pack which really don't have a great deal of use in terms of the lack of live update, lack of league challenges to use them in. I have got a couple on here though. I think Bissoli, if you can separate him from the fact that you don't get any league challenges to use him in, he does get live update, and I think for a 4-star, he does train up to be a reasonably decent striker. So if you can find a use for him, maybe for your Brazilian squad, or just in general, I think for a 4-star, he could be decent value for a striker. But like I say, without a league challenge, you might find he's not going to, you might feel he's not going to really bring you much value. I just think for overall ability for a 4-star contract, I think he's a pretty tidy 4-star centre forward. From Turkey, I think Topçu, if you like the destroyer playing style on a centre-back, and if you don't mind his defensive engagement being a bit low, apart from that, he's a fairly solid centre-back, especially for that Turkish League challenge. He could be a solid centre-back option for you. Hajradinović, very specific use for this guy, in my opinion. If you're going to put him on the left wing, if you don't mind the lack of pace, if you're going to put crosses in for your strikers, he has a fantastic cross on him with his left foot. Outside of that use, I'm not sure I'd really recommend him, but if you do play that way, you do like putting a lot of crosses in, you don't mind your wingers lacking pace a bit, his crossing could be brilliant. I think Carlos Mané, for me, out of all the 4-stars, I think Carlos Mané is the pick. He's my pick in terms of the best value for a 4-star, certainly for the Turkish League challenge, but even outside of it, he's got some pace, he's going to be decent on the ball. I think coming off that left wing onto his right foot, he could be a tidy little option. I think he's a decent winger for a 4-star contract, him. And from the J League, I'm not overly convinced by these two guys, to be honest. I'm not overly convinced by a lot of these guys. I think Kitano, depends where you use him, but if you use him just off the attack, either essentially, or if you position him as an SS to the left-hand side, he could be pretty handy. I think he's going to be capable of scoring goals. His passing won't be bad for you. I don't think he's brilliant, like I say, but he just could be a handy one. And then Fukuda, he's not great at anything, but he's just kind of okay everywhere. There's no real weakness with him. As a goal poacher, whether it's for the J League challenge or if you just desperately need someone, if you're new to the game, to stick up front when he's got form, I think even though he's not brilliant in any area, he's not bad in any area. He could be an alright centre forward for you. And last but certainly not least, my little fella Hussein Ali. It's all about how tiny he is, how funny he is. no league challenge, no live update, needs some skills, no face gun. There's a lot of negatives around this guy, but if you're looking around at all the 4-star options and you're thinking, well, there's no one here is really going to get in my squad for any league challenge. No one here is going to be good enough for divisions. Just get this guy for the fun. Stick him in his squad anytime you play against AI. He's fun. He's a little guy. He's nimble. He's quick. You can get him on the ball and have a lot of fun with him. So even just for the fun of it, that alone could give you some value. So if you look for that, if you want that kind of an option, and if no one going to really improve your squad for any particular mode or challenge, Hussein could at least give you a bit of fun for a 4-star contract. And now on to the 5 stars, and we'll start in Turkey because we've got one in Turkey. It is Talisca. So Talisca has a face scan. He's a goal poacher. According to eFootball, he doesn't have a playing style on his GP card, so they've given him a playing style at least. We have had one previous version of Talisca. That was when they did, I think it was some kind of Showtime AFC Champions League pack. It was one of the highlight cards. That was a roaming flank right wing forward. Slightly better card on the whole. Obviously a different position. Stats would have been shuffled around a little bit. From his GP card, obviously his GP card's a right wing forward as well. So hard to do a direct comparison. But if you train his GP card as a centre forward, the big advantage you got with this version of him really is that he's better on the ball, a bit more physical contact as well, but with less balance though. But he is better on the whole in his GP card, of course. But like I said, it's hard to compare directly to his GP card because different position and everything. But they've certainly boosted his physicals though. Whatever you do with his GP card, it seems like the heading, jumping, and physical contact are the most significant boost from his GP card. Looking at his skills, they've made a few changes here. So it looks like they've taken away scissors feint. I think dipping shot has gone. No look pass, I think we can live without that. Low lofted pass, I think, is gone as well. And they've added one touch pass, track back, aerial superiority, and fighting spirit. Interesting, very interesting. So we've got heading and aerial superiority on Talisca. He's a tall guy, 6'3", but he's not got great jumping or physical contact or heading. So is he going to be good in the air now? Obviously better. I mean, certainly better than he normally is. So they've boosted those attributes, and he's got aerial superiority along with heading. So he's going to be a lot better in the air than he normally is, but I still don't think he's going to be brilliant. It'll just be kind of all right in the air, I guess. But as a centre forward, first time shot, very important. Probably the most important for centre forward. Long range shooting is a good one to have as well. Acrobatic finishing. Yeah, he's got most of the skills you'd want. Maybe you'd want long range curler as well. Maybe through passing, depending where you want to use him. But it does depend where you want to use this guy, because that's the thing with Talisca. I mean, he's getting live update now. He's back in a league that's licensed in the Turkish league. He's got unwavering form as well. So we're looking okay with form and everything. But yeah, what position is he best in? Because as a goal poacher centre forward, has he got the pace? I'm not sure. Has he got the awareness and finishing? I'm not sure. Is he good in the ball? Hell yeah, for a centre forward, he's good in the ball. No question. Passing is decent enough, albeit he still doesn't have through passing. And he's got that boost to his aerial and physical ability with the attributes and with aerial superiority. But I'm just not sure as a goal poacher how well he's going to work. I don't particularly like the goal poacher playing style if I'm going to be putting a lot of crosses in. I don't feel like they time their runs very well for getting on the end of crosses. So I'm not sure everything quite marries together to make him that effective as a goal poacher. That's not to say he's bad, I'm just not sure how effective he would be. Other positions, as a wide man, the one thing with Talisca is he's tall. How good is he going to be with his dribbling? The on-the-ball attributes are all right. The pace is kind of all right-ish. Is he going to be great on the ball? He's got a bit of physical strength. He's not got great balance. I don't think he's going to feel that comfortable on the ball. I might be wrong on that. I've not used him on eFootball. Or have I think I may have used him in when they did an AFC Champions League event where we used the kind of GP squads. I think I used him in that and he was all right. But yeah, I'm not sure how good this guy is going to feel on the ball. I think it might be one of these cards where some people are going to enjoy him on the ball and really make the most of the attributes he's got, whereas others might really struggle a bit, mainly with the physique, because the big tall players don't tend to be so good on the ball, certainly some of the time. So yeah, as a wide man, not sure. It certainly could be a position where he could get some use out of him, because like I say, he's not slow, he's just not that quick, and likewise on the ball, he's not terrible on the ball, not brilliant either. Certainly got the finishing, the attack awareness and finishing both in the 80s. We've got long range shooting, we've got first time shot, so there's a lot to be said for him out wide. As an SS or an attack midfielder, kind of in that hole, I don't think the passing is anywhere near good enough to play as an attacker mid or a centre mid. I would rule those positions out personally. As an SS, just behind the attack, I mean, again, the passing's not brilliant. He doesn't have through passing. I would suggest the passing's a bit on the low side, but if you're going to focus more on getting shots away in that area just behind the attack, he is decent on the ball. He does have the shooting skills and a decent finishing attribute. So yeah, the passing is iffy, but the finishing could well be decent. So there are qualities with this guy. On the whole, he's obviously, you know, he's a 5-star card. He's got some good ability overall, but I just don't know how well he really fits into any particular role or any particular position. I think for the Turkish League Challenge, could certainly be a very useful one to pick up. But we're on to the 5 stars now. It's going to take you a 5-star nominee contract to pick him up. We've got a bunch of options for 5 stars. I'm not sure for that many people he's going to give you that greater value. For the Turkish League Challenge, yeah, quite possibly. Outside of that, I just don't know. Some people maybe, if you like the profile, this big tall guy with a little bit of physical and aerial ability, certainly with aerial superiority been thrown into the mix skill-wise. He's got some good shooting skills there. Definitely qualities there. And in certain roles, depending on your kind of tactical setup, he's got that versatility. There could well be 1 or 2 ways in there that he could fit into your setup and be a decent option. But for me personally, I'm just not sure he looks that great for a 5-star contract in any particular role, in any particular position. So certainly not a bad card, certainly qualities there. And I think certainly people, especially if you get the Turkish League Challenge, and even outside of it, there will be people who can have some enjoy out of this guy and get some value out of him. But I imagine a fair few people like myself might not be too excited by it. So just depends on what you're looking for. But for some people, yeah, maybe. But for me, not too sure about this one. And we go from Turkey back to the Asian Champions League pack. We've got a couple of 5 stars in here. So let's start with Demiral, Turkish centre-back. So not the first time we've had a Demiral card. We've had a few. There was one in the most recent Turkey pack. There's one in the original Turkey pack. I've had both of those. There's been one in some kind of Legend or Showtime pack at some point as well. All 3 of those versions of Demiral are better than this one. So if you've got any of those ones, you don't need this one. The one thing that I will say with this one, though, is that he's got more speed than any of the previous versions. That's the one thing he's got over those previous ones. But overall, the previous trainable versions of this guy are all a bit better. He has had a reasonable boost from his GP card. The way they boosted the attributes is not so much of a uniform boost this time. It's very mixed. Some of them are up by none or 1. Others up by a bunch. Real mix across the board. Pace is probably, like I say, that speed is really the biggest boost he's had. Inconsistent form's a shame, especially when he doesn't get live updates. So that's a big downside to this guy. He's in Saudi now. He's not getting live update. Inconsistent form as well. Big shame. If he plays for Turkey in any given international week, he could get form from that. But yeah, he's got a face scan as well. But yeah, the form situation is a bit of a downside. Skill wise, man marking, insertion blocker. He's got aerial, sliding, acrobatic fighting. The only one he's really lacking is heading. And his heading attribute doesn't look too brilliant. But let's see how well he trains up, because this is a trainable card. So we go back to eFootball Hub. And he's pretty solid, to be fair. So yeah, heading, I would probably look to give him the heading skill if you're going to be using this guy a lot. But I don't think you desperately need that. He's got all the other defensive skills he needs. Defensively, he's very strong. Down the right here, he's physically strong. Jumping's not amazing. He's 6'3", about 6'3", jumping 8'4", which is vertical reach going to be mid 270. So his vertical reach is okay. As I mentioned, he's got a nice boost in his speed. I don't think I'd necessarily do too much. I think on a destroyer, I mean, look at that aggression, actually. Yikes, he's super aggressive. But yeah, on a destroyer, you're focusing mainly on the defensive and physical ability. I don't think many people would really expect the destroyer to be too great on the ball, which is just as well with this guy, because he's rubbish on the ball. His passing's not too great either. But yeah, focusing on what he's good at, destroying, tackling, intercepting, he's definitely got some really good ability, really good skills. There's a lot to be said for this guy. He's fairly two-footed as well, actually. I hadn't noticed that before. The version I've got, like I say, I've had both the ones from Turkey packs. The original one was solid for me. When I got the more recent Turkey pack, that was an upgrade. I've not used them too much because of the lack of live update, but I have used them in a Turkey squad and in divisions once or twice, or in some kind of unlimited challenge. I can remember using them a bunch of times online. Very solid for me. A good card. This one might not be as good, but there's not much in it. It's a very solid centre back, this. In terms of how the points are allocated, with the auto allocation, I think you're fine. It's looking alright there, but if you wanted to scrimp a few points and maybe bounce them out a bit, you could. Could he get that dexterity, get that acceleration up to the 70 mark? Can we get his jumping up to 88 maybe? 2 on goalkeeper 1. Boom. I would do that, yeah. I think that's nice. You've lost a bit off the defenses, still 90 plus in Northern though, still uber aggressive. Very physically strong there, but more importantly, we've got his jumping up to 88. Nice vertical height. Vertical reach has gone up by a couple of centimetres, 2 or 3 centimetres. Not massive, obviously, but a difference is a difference. Nice hit at the 70 mark and acceleration. This is a good solid centre back, to be fair. I think the one thing with this card, though, the one thing it comes down to is what you're going to use him for. Are you going to use a guy in divisions when he's always on C form? Probably not, especially when he's got inconsistent form. Are you going to use him in a Turkey squad? You could do. Again, you're never getting that AM, or maybe not never, but outside of international weeks, you're not going to be getting a lot of AMB form. So that really screws him up. I think there's very limited use for this guy, which is a shame because he is a good solid centre-back. But if you've found this guy in real life, if you're Turkish and you want him for your Turkey squad, certainly this is a good centre-back card. Outside of the form issue, could be a very solid centre-back option, but that form issue is a real nightmare, unfortunately, and that will probably put a lot of people off getting him. But outside of that, like I say, this is a good solid centre-back card. And we do have one other 5-star card in this Asian Champions League pack, and it is Douglas Costa. So I wasn't expecting a feature version of anytime soon. I had his GP card as a 3-star. Didn't use it a great deal, mainly just used it against the AI sometimes for a bit of fun. He's got a face scan. He's playing in Australia now. So like I say, I wasn't expecting to get a version of it anytime soon because they actually took away my GP card. They deleted him. But now he's playing back playing for a team that's in the game because of the Asian Champions League. He's obviously back in the game now, and we got a feature version, which is pretty cool. He does have inconsistent form, which is a shame. I don't think you get a live update from the Australian League. So again, like with Demiral, big issue with the form there. Skill-wise, you've got pretty much what you'd expect. We've got double touch and flip-flap. If you gave him soul control, you got your ball roll double touch. So you've got a few skill moves there. Pinpoint crossing, that's all you've really got end product-wise. That's a concern. Outside curls, a nice one to have. Super sub, also a nice one to have. I think what you're looking at with Douglas Costa is that you might not be necessarily looking at a guy who's going to be coming to your squad and doing bits for you in divisions and so on, but it might just be for the vibes, to be honest. I think it's that kind of a card because this guy used to be a lot of fun. He was a really skillful player, really good player, and if people used to enjoy it, if you used to enjoy this guy on the game, which I did, he may well be a fun one to pick up. He could be an interesting option for your 5-star contract. But let's jump over to eFootball Hub there. We'll see how good he is. This is the first time we've had a feature version of Douglas Costa on the game. He's had a decent boost from his GP card. We'll max him out here, and as you can see, he might not just be for the vibes, this guy. He might actually be good for you. He's got pace, he's got balance, he's good on the ball. This guy's not bad, you know. This could be a really a more popular card than I realised. I mean, obviously a lot of people, like I say, did used to enjoy this guy on the game. I did. As soon as I saw him popping up as a 5-star option, I pretty much decided I'm going to get him. But I think he's actually not just going to be a fun one and one for the nostalgia and so on. I think he could actually be well worth picking up, this guy, for his ability. Like I say, with the skills, you'd need to give him a few. If you like his skill moves, I think soul control is definitely worth giving him to give him that ball roll double touch and in general. But I would definitely give him long range curler. Beyond that, maybe his one-touch passing through passing because his passing is horrible. That's the one downside with this card. Real lack of end product, but the qualities are obvious, and it's pretty obvious what you're going to get out of this card. If you like a winger who's quick, he's good on the ball, that's what he's good at because he's quick and he's really good on the ball. You could shuffle the points a little bit. You could take a couple away from his dribbling there, and maybe you could maybe just beef up his passing. And if you want to focus really on the passing mainly, he's got pinpoint crossing. I mean, you could put him on the left and he'd have an okay cross on him. Not a great cross, but his crossing would be okay on the left. He's got pinpoint crossing. I think more people would see this guy as a right winger, to cut it onto his left foot, in which case he could nick those points back off passing. Can he get his finishing up to 80? No. I mean, he can get up to the mid-70s. I'd probably just do that and leave the low pass as it was. Yeah, the finish, the end product is the concern. Like I say, I mean, to be honest, if you could get a kicking power to 90, if you're really not too bothered about the end product, we'd always want him defending. They notice that. I'll take that back. Yoink! Thank you very much. There you go. Kicking power 90, and those 2 points will go straight back on finishing. Yeah, I'll do that. Nice to hit the 90 mark on kicking power, but yeah. Like I say, with Costa, it's obvious what he's good at. It's obvious what he's bad at. End product's an issue. I don't think anyone's going to play him as an attack midfield when he can't pass the ball to save his life. But like I showed you there, you could get his lofted pass up a little bit. You could well use him as a left winger and make use of the fact he's got pinpoint crossing. I mean, to be honest, if you really want to make a left winger, you could take even more points off his dribbling. Let's just see how good a left winger we can make him. I mean, you can get his lofted to 80. I would be inclined to just do that, actually. So you've lost a bit off dribbling, but he's still good on the ball. Taking points off finishing, but if you're just going to be whipping crosses in, I don't think it's too important, albeit it's nice to be able to put a bit of curl on your crosses. You've got the pace, you've got the kicking power, good balance. As a left winger, yeah, you've definitely got an option there, but yeah, like I said, I'm just going to go back to auto allocation. As a right winger, cutting onto his left foot, be very careful with his end product. If you're going to use this guy a lot, give him long range curler. But yeah, I think for a lot of people who used to be a fan of this guy, even just for the vibes, I think this would be a really, really fun one to pick up for your 5-star contract. But for his overall ability, yeah, you've not got a league challenge to use him in, and I'm not sure he's going to be getting any live update. As you can see up here, he's had absolutely no A's or B's, so it looks like I was right. He doesn't get a live update from the Australian League, but yeah, even in divisions or in your Brazil squad as well. Actually, I hadn't even thought of that, but I do occasionally use a Brazil squad in the national team's challenge, and I do usually lack a right mid option. So for your Brazil challenge, if you're like me and you don't have too many right mid options, this guy could be an option for you for that. So yeah, there are reasons why you might want this guy. You know, the end product. If you don't remember this guy, then you're not really thinking about the nostalgia and all that stuff. Then you're going to be thinking, okay, lack of end product there, that might put you off. The fact there's no league challenge for him might put you off. No live update, but I think there are enough reasons that quite a few people will get some good value out of this guy. If you used to be a fan of him, I think, you know, like I say, first time I had a feature version in the game, might be the last time. Could be well worth picking up for that reason. For me personally, that applies to me. I'm definitely going to get him. You can make him a decent left winger. You can make him a very decent right winger. And like I say, even for divisions, and especially a Brazilian squad, if you ever rock a Brazilian squad, I think this guy for a 5-star contract could be a good fun card for quite a few people. And now on to the Pride of the Club pack. So these are all 5 stars. I'm guessing this is the new name and design for club icons. Same kind of thing, but yeah, either way, Pride of the Club. And we got a whopping 6 to choose from. Ooh, we're spoilt for choice. Let's start with lowest rated. And that is Jamie Vardy. So we've had a few Jamie Vardys. We actually had a previous Jamie Vardy in a club icon pack. Interesting. That'll be a year or two ago now. This one's a bit better than that one. There was one in a Leicester City pack at one point. Not quite as good as that one, but not a massive difference, and he's about the same as the other Vardy card we've had that was in a Premier League pack. And it's a pretty decent version of him. Obviously, these are trainables. We'll show you just quickly. He's got a face scan, of course, and he's got pretty much the skills you'd expect. First time shot, acrobatic. Could do with long range curler, maybe. He's got heading. He's a super sub these days. Good. Fighting spirit. But yeah, it's a trainable card. So let's jump over to eFootball Hub, and we'll just see exactly how good this Vardy card is, and it's pretty decent. So he's had a decent boost. Quite a few of these cards have had quite a mixed boost, actually. Kind of shuffled around, some attributes up by more than others. They definitely boosted him on the ball. He's got a bit more pace, which is good on the goal poacher, and especially on Jamie Vardy. A bit more physical contact as well. That's been boosted a bit. But yeah, on the whole, pretty nice looking card, this. So first thing I'm noticing here, the attacking awareness, we're over 90, but finishing just shy of 90. It would be nice if we get that speed and kicking power up to 90. I wonder if we can. I don't think the 4 points in area are going to make a lot of difference. I'm taking those 4 points off aerial straight away. Passing likewise. Could we nick a couple off at dexterity? You can afford to off the attacking awareness and the acceleration, but balance is not great. It's a bit of a shame, but I do want to get the finishing to 90. And if we can get the speed and kick back to 90, boom, yeah. I've got 2 points left. Put them on the ball, I guess. Or physical, passing. Put them on passing. Doesn't really matter, but yeah. Awareness and finishing 90. Speed, acceleration, kicking back all 90. Nice. It's not the best version of Vardy we've had, but it's a good one. Like I said, they have boosted his pace amongst other attributes, and he's a bit better on the ball than he normally is. Good section skills there. I don't think there's a great deal you need to say about this card. You know what to expect from Vardy. He's a pacey goal poacher. That's what he is. He's always been a popular one in this game. A lot of people are a fan of him in this game. It might be one of the last opportunities you get to pick up a good version of him. The age he's at, the stage of his career is at. Fairly two-footed. Might still be worth giving an outside curler. He's got some of the most important skills, including goalkeeper long throw. Again, that's an error on eFootball Hub. But yeah, maybe outside curler. Certainly long range curler I'll give him. But he's got a pretty good selection skills otherwise. And as a super sub as well, you put this guy in second half. Could be a really handy, pacey little goal poacher to try and help you get a goal second half if you need one, or even if you don't need one. So yeah, like I say, there's not a great deal you need to say about this card. You know, you can use him in an English League challenge. It could well be a decent option for divisions. And as a goal poacher who's good at what you expect Jamie Vardy to be good at, it's a pretty good version of him. You know, I'd like a bit more balance on him. And maybe you could do it a little bit on passing. I'm not sure that's too important, but you know what you're going to be trying to do with Jamie Vardy. You're going to try and get him behind the defence, and you're going to try and finish. And he's definitely going to be good at that. So like I say, if you're a fan of Vardy, and if you don't have a good version of Vardy, I imagine you'd be very pleased to pick this one up. And then skill-wise, like I say, I think maybe outside curler, but certainly long-range curler would be the first one I put on him. But he's already got some good skills there. It's a good version of Vardy, and it could be a decent card to pick up, a good striker option, at least for the English League Challenge, and potentially for divisions as well, or your England squad likewise. So yeah, Good strike card this, and I think Jamie Vardy fans will be very pleased to pick it up. And we have yet another Luka Modrić card. So Luka Modrić is still going strong. This guy's incredible. He's got a face count, of course. He's got unwavering form, of course. He's still performing well, of course. He's ridiculous. Skill-wise, it's what you expect from Modrić, really. One touch and through pass, and the main one's weighted pass outside curler. A couple of skill moves and long way shooting up there. Yeah, it's another Modrić card, really. Let's jump over to eFootball Hub. We'll see exactly how good it is, but like I say, it is very much just another Modrić card. We've had quite a lot by now. You see him maxed out here. You see what he's good at. It's the technicals. Yikes, amazing. Everything else, bit iffy. Obviously good balance, but he's not great defensively. He's not got a great deal of pace, of course. Stamina's not great. That's one real concern with Modrić. It's going to come down to where you play him. We've had a lot of Modrić cards. You look at all his Player of the Week cards. There's one or two that are a bit better. The World Cup orchestrated card springs to mind. That was a fantastic card. Trainables, there's been a few better ones. Obviously, he's had a Showtime card that was better than this one. And a few other trainable versions have been better than this one as well. But it's still a good version of Modrić. Obviously, the stats get shuffled around a bit. And at this stage of his career, you know, like I say, stamina is probably the one real concern. But it depends on where you play him, really. He's had a pretty reasonable boost from his GP card. Speed, physical contact, attacking awareness, finishing, all been boosted a bit. Not a lot else has been boosted at all, really. He's obviously got more levels than his GP card, though. I think 5 more levels. So yeah, it's a decent boost. But those are the attributes that boosted the most, and it's another good version of Modrić. It just depends where you're going to use him. As an orchestrator, like I say, defensively, big question mark for me. Physical contact's a concern as well. Not much stamina. You could nick some points from over here from the left. Obviously, if you went right down to 4 on passing, you could even go down to 4 on dribbling. If you really want to beef him up in those other areas and make him more suitable for a kind of deeper lying role in your midfield. But I mean, how good can you make him? I'd probably do something along those lines. Is he more suited to playing deeper as an orchestrator? Yes. Is he going to be perfectly suited to doing that? I'm not sure. Technically still great, but still not brilliant defensively. Better, but still not brilliant. Still not strong physically. Still not great stamina. If you really want to play him deep, I think that kind of ability would certainly work better, and you might have a lot of joy with him in that area of the pitch as a kind of deep line playmaker. You could position training for DMF. I'm not sure how well he's going to come out on auto allocation as a DMF. Yeah, so if you go auto allocation DMF, he's still not good at defending. I definitely wouldn't play him that deep personally. Like I say, the build that I just did there, where I kind of shuffled the points around, is what I would do as a CMF. So you could certainly get away with him there. If you've got one or two other midfielders doing the defensive work for him, focus on what he's good at, could be great there. But I think with this Modrić card, like with a lot of trainable Modrić cards, where you're going to get the best value out of him quite possibly is attacking midfield. If I go with auto allocation first, as you can see, crikey, not bad technically. Absolutely ridiculous. I mean, to be honest, I would take just a few off there. I would leave him at 90 for dribbling because that's nice. I mean, the passing's fantastic. Could do with a bit more speed on him. To be honest, you don't need that much passing, do you? We'll just go down to there. There we go, kicking power to 88, nice. But I do much else other than that? Not really. We've got 3 points left. 1 on shooting. That's about all I do, really. 1 point left over. Let's stick on aerial, who cares? Yeah, not brilliant at shooting, but he's got long range shooting. You could give him long range curl as well. Fantastic on the ball, great passing. Attacking awareness up to 80, a little bit of pace about him. More importantly, kicking back to 88, that's going to help with the shooting as well. Bounce is great at 93. I think as an attacking midfielder, that might be the best value you get out of this guy. Like I say, he's obviously not bad as an orchestrator. It's just a question of what you want from an orchestrator. If you've got someone playing that deep in the midfield, do you want more defensive ability? Do you want more physical strength? Do you want more stamina? If you're saying yes to those, then yeah, this guy probably won't be for you as an orchestrator, as a centre midfielder. But if you just want to focus on what he's good at as an orchestrator, you don't really care about the physical and defensive side of it, obviously could be fantastic. But certainly as an attacking midfielder, that's another option you got with this Modrić card, like with pretty much all trainable Modrić cards. And as an attacking midfielder, he could be absolutely fantastic. He's got end product and he's technically brilliant. So yeah, there's not a lot needs to be said with the Modrić card because you know exactly what you're getting. I think at this point, most of us have probably got a good Modrić card. For that reason, I'm not sure why they've really put him in this pack, to be honest. I think it's one of these choices they've made where sure, if you're new to the game, you don't have a Modrić card, or even if you've been playing a long time, you still don't have a Modrić card for some reason, you'll be delighted to get it. But I'm just not sure there'll be that many people that really need a Modrić card at this point. So not a great choice in my opinion. But like I say, if he suits you as an orchestrator, could be a really good card to pick up. If you want a good Modrić card, it's obviously a great card to have. He's great to have in the game. And as an attacking midfielder as well, I think you probably get even more value out of him. Could be fantastic as an attacking mid, albeit without an active playing style, which does bother some people. For me, it doesn't make any difference. I think it's fine. So yeah, centre mid, attacking mid, great options. You know what you're getting from Modrić. It's another good Modrić card. If for some reason you don't already have a Modrić card, happy days. This will be a great card for you to pick up. And next up is Aritz Elustondo, a defensive fullback, right back. Got a face scan, only standard form. Does get live up there, of course, from the Spanish league. He can play right back, but he can also play centre back. We'll come to that. Skill wise, not a lot there, but we've got some of the most important ones defensively. We've got interception, aerial superiority, sliding, capacity, fighting spirit. I would like a defensive forward to have man marking, blocker in addition to these skills, and I'd maybe consider 1 or 2 passing skills if he does ever get forward, albeit he's a defensive fullback, so that's not too important. But yeah, like I say, a couple of positions there. Let's just have a look how he trains up. So we'll go into eFootball Hub, get him all maximum and maxed out, maximum whatever. I can't speak properly. Yeah, here he is, fully boosted. Pretty good. So pace, yep. Physical strength, yep. Balance, nah. Not brilliant, but could be worse, I guess. Stamina, yep. Defensive, strong. Down the left, I think he's all right. He's certainly not a dribbler, but he's not. You know, he's a defensive fullback. He's not going to get forward much. The passing's okay on a fullback. So yeah, like I say, I would consider maybe 1 or 2 passing skills, but certainly man marking, blocker. But as a defensive fullback, looks pretty strong. We've actually had a version of him which I had. I might even still have it, to be honest. I'm not sure, but that was in the, I think it was the very first Sociedad pack which they did. I think just basically as an excuse to give us a Kubo card. But yeah, he was in that pack as a centre back with the destroyer playing style. Wasn't as good as a centre back or a right back as this card. And from his GP card, this version of him has had a pretty decent boost. Again, he's had a pretty mixed boost. Some attributes up higher than others. Some are only up by 1. Others have been increased by as much as 7. I think the biggest boost is probably acceleration and tight possession. Seem to be the most boosted attributes. Certainly if that acceleration has been boosted a lot, then he needed it, because it's still not brilliant at 84, but it's decent enough with the speed being at 90. I don't think I would change an awful lot with the allocation of the points, to be honest. I think as a defensive fullback, the way the points are allocated, it's balanced out pretty well. The overall profile works pretty well. We don't get too many good defensive fullbacks. So if you do really like defensive fullbacks with that in terms of the playing style, this could be a solid card to pick up. For the Spanish League challenge especially, it could be a really solid option for you if he works for you with his playing style and his profile. So yeah, as a right back, could be a very solid one. But like I mentioned, you can make him a centre back. So let's just see how good a centre back can we make him. We don't need these technicals anymore. Take a few away from his pace. We need some physical strength. Got it. Now we need a bit more on his defending. Got that as well. Hello. So in 90 plus all defensives, 90 jumping physical, and we've got 7 points to play with. The one concern for me with this guy is a centre back. He's not the tallest. He's about 5'10", 5'11". He's got 90 jumping, and he's got aerial superiority, but not the tallest. As you see, a jumping height 269 is not great. So we're going to go straight to goalie 1, put 4 on goalie 1. That gets his jumping up by 4. 3 points left. I'm just going to use that to get his area up by 1 more. Bit more physical strength, and the jumping goes to 95. So now the vertical height, vertical reach, jumping height, whatever you want to call it, 272.3. Still not brilliant, but it's workable. And all the defense is 90 plus, like I say. Good physical strength down the left, even though we put no points on there. Obviously, he starts as a fullback, so he's pretty decent there for a centre back. Heading 90 is good. He doesn't have the heading skill. I don't think he particularly needs it. As a centre back, I would definitely give him man marking, blocker, maybe his acrobatic clearance. I think that's just about all you really need as a centre back. He's got good pace for a centre back. Yeah, you got a bit of a sneaky centre back here. So it's one of these cards, not too dissimilar to Foyt, to be honest. There was a Foyt card in the Spanish League pack where you got a similar situation where he's a pretty solid defensive right back, but you can make him a cheeky right centre back as well. And this is a similar situation. So not quite got the height on this guy. That is the one concern with the height. But outside of that, yeah, if you give him the skills, certainly he does need a few skills. But if you give him the skills, the height notwithstanding, you can make him a very cheeky centre back option. But of course, like I say, you've also got the auto allocation with his normal position as a defensive fullback, and he's pretty strong there as well. So 2 ways you could use this guy, but either way that you use him, I think for a lot of people, especially for the Spanish League change, but also in general, right back or centre back, you could have a decent card here for one of your 5-star contracts. I think a lot of people are going to pick this guy up. And next we have Solly March. So Solly March is a cross specialist in place for Brighton. We have a face scan, only standard form, but he does get live update, of course, in the Premier League. Skill-wise, not a great deal really going on, really just the crossing, but this is what we're going to find with this guy. He has a very specific style of play. What he's good at is very clear. He's a cross specialist. He wants to get up and down the left wing and put crosses in, and that's pretty much what he's good at. There's not a lot beyond that, but how good is he at that? Is it a good card? Let's find out. Let's go to eFootball Hub. So, getting all trained up. He's pretty decent. He's not amazing, but he's kind of just quite good at everything he needs to be good at for a cross specialist, really. You can play on the right as well, but he's a left footer. He's not particularly two-footed. As you can see there, his weaker foot is quite strong, but he doesn't want to use it. So you would have to give him outside curler, but even then, I don't think I'd want to put him on the right. He's a left footer. You want to keep him on the left wing, and he's very much just a cross specialist, really. He's got the playing style. He's going to hug the touchline, stay out wide, and look to get in a position to cross the ball at all times. He's got the ability to cross the ball with that lofted pass where it is, and with the pinpoint crossing skill. He's got a bit of pace about him. He's got good kicking power, a little bit of curl. I'd like a bit more curl on him, to be honest. It's a bit of a shame he's not got more curl, but he's a pretty good left winger with the cross specialist playing style. That kind of old school winger. If you're a cross fan, you want to be putting a lot of crosses in for your big strikers. I think he's a solid option. I don't think he's amazing, but he's definitely a good option. In terms of other points are allocated, again, I don't think I'll change much, to be honest. There's not really a lot of scope for shuffling points around. You've got so many attributes that are just shy of 90. You'd like to nudge them up to try and hit the 90 mark, but where are you going to take the points from? I don't think I'd want to really take them from anywhere. I think I'll just leave it pretty much as it is. I think what you've really got here is pretty straightforward. He's just a pretty good cross specialist on the left wing, to be honest. He's had a pretty decent boost from his GP card. Again, it's a pretty mixed one. He's been boosted on the ball. His low pass has been boosted a bit. It needed it. That's good. Got a bit more pace, a bit more balance. Apart from that, not much else has been boosted, but not much else really needs to be boosted. So yeah, like I say, this is a pretty straightforward guy. He's got a left back as well, actually, and we'll just go to the auto allocation. Can he make him a left back? Not really. Can't defend to save his life. He's not very strong. He's not got the defensive skills, really. Yeah, I don't think many people would see this guy as a left back. A very attacking left back and clearly not great defensively, but as a left winger, whether you play him left mid, like I say, right mid, he's a bit one-footed. You'd have to give him outside curl. I wouldn't recommend that. I think he's best on the left. You could position train him as a left wing forward as well, where you'd also have the cross specialist playing style active. But either way, on the left-hand side is where this guy's going to be best, and it's very clear what he's good at. He's got the pace. He's good on the ball. He's got a good cross on him. You like old school wingers putting cross in for your strikers, especially with that cross specialist playing style. He'll be a good one for you. Good option for the English League Challenge and a good option in general. As a left winger putting crosses in for you, it's a good card. If that's what works for you, it's a good card. If that's not what works for you, probably not got a great deal to offer for you. But yeah, certainly for what he's good at, it's a good card, this. And next we have Iñaki from Athletic Bilbao. So, of course, he's got his face scan. This particular Iñaki Williams card is a right wing forward prolific winger. Sometimes that's what he is. Other times he's a centre forward goal poacher. This time he's a right winger. Skill wise, he's a little bit lacking. He's an interesting card, Iñaki Williams. He always is. The question is, where is he going to be best? Where are you going to want to use him? He's got a first time shot, which is great if he's playing up front, especially long range shooting handy as well. But beyond that, not really a great deal going on. Flip flap, you might like that if you like skill moves. Chip shot control, again, I don't know how broken it is these days. I can't remember the last time I tried a chip shot. Outside curler is a good one. Gamesmanship, So yeah, it's a question of where you're going to use him, but of course it's also a question of how good is he. So let's jump over to eFootball. We'll train him up. And as a right winger, yeah, he's certainly got some qualities. So we've had quite a few versions of Iñaki Williams. There was a player of the season one not too long ago. And he also had a player of the week card at some point, and both those cards are pretty similar to this one, to be honest, in overall ability. But of course, the attributes are shuffled around as you'd expect from a player of the week or player of the season card. In terms of trainables, we've had a couple of right wing forward versions, and they're both pretty similar overall as a right winger. But if you train them all as a centre forward, this new one is a little bit better because he's got better finishing. And we've had a couple of versions that are already a centre forward, as with the goal poacher playing style that we've had previously, trainable versions. Again, both pretty similar overall as a centre forward. If you train this one as a centre forward, one of them is quite similar as a right winger. The other one is actually a bit better, and that's the one that I've got. That was in that. It's from originally from some kind of legend box, but they put it in that contract renewal box with the big update where he had a bunch of legends in it. He was in that one. That one actually as a right winger is a bit better than this guy. So this isn't the best version of Iñaki Williams as a right winger, but it's certainly one of the better ones as a centre forward. As you can see, as a right winger, pace, absolutely. Kicking power is decent. On the ball is pretty good. Attacking awareness is pretty good. Finishing is decent. Passing absolutely sucks. You have to be very careful with his passing. You may well want to put 1 or 2 passing skills on him to improve his passing. His balance isn't that great either. He's got a bit of physical strength though, but I'd like a bit more balance on him. So yeah, some pros and cons to him as a right winger. But I think for most people, you're probably going to use him as a left winger because he's right-footed. Cutting off that left wing onto his right foot. If you gave him long-range curler especially, coming off that left wing as a left wing forward onto his right foot, if you gave him long-range curler especially, he's already got long-range shooting and first-time shot. That could be one of the best ways to use this guy, and it could be one of the most popular ways to use this guy. Could be very effective there. He's got the pace, he's good in the ball. Be careful not to worry too much with his passing, of course, but the awareness, the finishing, yeah, could be very effective coming off that left wing onto his right foot. But as a centre forward, though, like I say, good version of him as a centre forward, and we'll just go with the auto location initially. As you can see, awareness, yep. On the ball, yep. Pace, absolutely. Bit of physical strength and bounce about him. Finishing 88 is decent. Can we nudge up to 90? I reckon we can. Where are we going to take the points away from? Might be tricky, actually. You could take a couple away from lower body. That gets 1 on his finishing. We need 2 more points. Okay, it's not quite so easy, but we'll take a couple of dribbling maybes. You could do it different ways, but yeah, I think if you like still having a bit of physical strength and maybe he's being half decent in the air. I mean, the vertical, what's his vertical reach? 267, 268. He's all right in the 8. You could give him a heading, aerial, acrobatic finishing, make him better from crosses. He won't be bad from crosses, albeit his heading sucks at 70, so I'm not sure about that. If you wanted to focus more on just on his pace and his ability to poach and score goals with his feet, which I imagine most people would, you could just take those points off aerial. Still got a decent amount of physical strength about him. Put a couple back on his on the ball ability, and then those last 2 points where they're going to go back on his speed, I reckon. Bit more speed, but more importantly, kicking power. Crazy pace, especially that acceleration at 97. Awareness and finishing at 90. Decent on the ball. He will not have an active playing style as a centre forward, but obviously it varies a lot. Some people really don't like players not having an active playing style, either in general or in certain positions, but a lot of people, including myself, don't really find it an issue. I think he'd be absolutely fine as a centre forward. The version I've actually got trained as a centre forward, and he's been pretty decent for me, to be honest. I like him. He's similar to this in overall ability, and yeah, he's got a bit of physical strength about him, and you can really notice the pace. He's very responsive. He's quick. He's got the awareness and finishing. He's been decent for me. So yeah, in my experience, this guy could be a very decent centre forward for you, and that playing style, lack of playing style as a centre forward, in my opinion, and based on my experience, it doesn't hold him back. So I could recommend this guy as a pretty good centre forward. But like I say, outside of that, if you use him as a winger, if I just finish up on auto allocation, as a winger, I would say primarily on the left, cutting onto his right foot. If you're going to use him a lot, give him long range curler, but even without it, it could be pretty effective from that left wing. His passing does suck, but he's really quick. He's good on the ball. The awareness and finishing are good. So wide left or centre forward, you've got 2 options with this guy, and it's a pretty good Iñaki Williams card. I think it could be a decent card for a lot of people. Certainly for the Spanish League Challenge, could be a very good option, but in general as well, wide left or up front, could be a decent card to pick up this one. And the last card in this pack is Koke from Atletico Madrid. So, got a face scanner, of course. Box to box DMF. Normally a CMF. I don't know if they changed his GP card or just changed it for this one. Just having a quick look in the background, actually. I'm pretty sure, yeah, his GP card these days is a DMF, but a lot of his previous cards have been CMF. Got unwoven form still, which is good. Obviously, he gets live update as well from Spain. Skill-wise, most of the ones you need, one touch and through, weighted pass, low lofted as well, but defensively you probably need interception. That for me is an important one on the centre midfield, box to box, especially on a DMF. So yeah, interceptions needed skill wise, but let's just see how good he is in terms of his overall ability. And he is pretty decent. So this is auto allocation as a DMF. So they put quite a few points onto his defensive ability. It's not amazing on the ball. His passing is decent enough. Attacking awareness sucks a bit. Pace is okay. His physical contact and bounce are both kind of okay-ish. Stamina's pretty good. Yeah, it's looking like a pretty good version of Koke. So we've had a few versions of him. We had a Player of the Week card that wasn't quite as good as a DMF or CMF, depending on which one you train this card for. So it looks like we're better than the Player of the Week version we've had. But we've had a bunch of trainables of him. And as far as I can see, there's only one trainable version we've had. It looks like it's from some kind of, maybe a kind of end player of the season pack from Spain at the end of the 23-24 season. He was on the highlight cards in that one, I think. That one goes about as high as this one as a CMF, but not as a DMF. So depending on what you want to train him for, it's basically you're pretty much looking at one of the best versions of Koke we've had, arguably the best. It's a good version of him. He's had a decent boost from his GP card. The biggest boost is on his speed. But again, it's a real mix. There's some attributes up by only 1 or 2. The most are boosted by, like I said, 7. I think it's about 7 points on the speed. So yeah, decent boost. One of the best versions we've had of Koke. If you're a fan of this guy, it could be a very nice one to pick up. Again, I got, like I said with Iñaki, from that same contract renewal pack with the big update, I got the Koke card from that pack. Pretty sure that's where I got it from anyway. He's been pretty solid for me in the Spanish League Challenge. He's a good option as a centre mid. I've got like a double pivot of DMFs who I like as all-rounders. I like them to be able to do a bit of everything, really. So yeah, if that one's been decent for me, I imagine with this one being better, it'll be even better. It could well be a very decent one to pick up. Like I say, you need the interception skill, but in some kind of double pivot as a DMF, I wouldn't use him as a lone DMF. I don't think he's strong enough defensively, certainly without more defensive skills, but certainly in any kind of double pivot, doing a bit of everything. It looks pretty strong. The tackling is not that high, but it probably looks lower than it really is compared with all the other defensive attributes being over 90 there. 86 is not bad for tackling. It would be nice if we can nudge that physical contact up to 80. And we can, to be honest. I'm just going to nick one from nobody. Boom, I'll do that straight away. Physical strength more important than speed. I don't think I'd nick much from elsewhere. If you want to play him as any kind of DMF, you need him to be not just physically strong, but of course defensively strong. I think that's a pretty tidy DMF. Like I say, though, it's the skills that the issue is a DMF. You need interception desperately, and then probably man marking, maybe his blocker as well. Apart from that, though, good in the ball, got the passing stats. But if you train him as a CMF, more of an all-round build, what's the auto allocation going to tell us? So it's going to tell us he's got really good passing, tidy on the ball. Defensively, he's all right, but that tackling's a bit on the low side now. That does need increasing a bit. Not too strong physically there, but really still in the mid-70s. Bit of balance, good stamina, average pace. And to be honest, the attacking awareness is the one thing that bothers me the most as a CMF. Bit on the low side. You could nick some points from passing if you wanted to kind of balance him out a bit. Get the dexterity up to 8. 2 points left. Where are they going? Probably aerial. No, defending, get attacking up to 80. Yeah, I think as a kind of an all-round build, that's what I would do. Still got the 90 mark for low pass with all the passing skills. Still tidy on the ball. We just nudge his tackling up to 80. And then dexterity. A bit more acceleration on him. Very decent balance. Attacking awareness up into the mid-70s. Still not brilliant, but that has improved. The stamina's still over 90. So, yeah, it's a good centre midfield card. As a box-to-box, that playing style will be active centre mid and defensive mid. Keep that in mind as a defensive mid. If you don't want him going forward, obviously you need a defensive instruction on him. But as a DMF or a CMF, depending how you train him, this is a solid card. It's one of the better versions of Koke that we've had. If you like the guy, or if you just want a centre mid option, especially for the Spanish League Challenge, could be a good strong card for you. He does also have attacking mid. I'm not sure how good he'd be as an attacking mid. Would it be good? Yeah. Is that the best use of him? I'm not sure. Attacking awareness not brilliant. Finishing sucks. Could be an option. I don't think many people would want to do that with Koke really. As a DMF, I guess you could train him as a centre back. Can we make Koke a centre back? Not really. I mean, he's not bad. Certainly got plenty of qualities there. But again, are you going to use him as a centre back? You're going to give him a whole lot of defensive skills and do that? No, I don't think you are. I think as a CMF or DMF, it's how this guy's best. And whether it's the way I've trained him in either position or whether it's the auto allocation, plenty of qualities. And on the whole, yeah, it's a really good version of Koke, and it's a good solid centre mid or defensive mid with the box-to-box playing style. It's a solid card, this. So, for my 5-star recommendations, I'm not sure who to recommend really because we don't have that many options, but I think all the 5-star options could be decent for you depending on what you want to do, depending on what positions you need someone in, depending on what league challenge you're still able to take part in. So, I don't think anyone really stands out for me on the whole. You got 6 cards in this club icon, pride of club, whatever it's called, this pack. Solid centre mid, Koke, Iñaki as a wide man or striker could be very decent. Solid March. If you're a cross spammer, you want a cross specialist, very decent card. Elustondo, solid defensive right back, or could be a very good cheeky centre back as well. Modrić is just Modrić, and that's not a bad thing. Obviously, it's a good Modrić card. They always are. Jamie Vardy, if you want a Jamie Vardy card, very handy, pacey goal poacher. So you got all 6 here, depending on what you want and what players you like, what teams you like, and everything else. All of these cards could be decent for you. And then you look at the other packs as well. You got 2 in here. Demiral, lack of live update and league challenges to use him for does let him down, but in terms of his overall ability, solid card. Especially if you rock a Turkey squad for any reason. He's solid centre back. That guy, very good solid centre back. Then Douglas Costa, for the vibes, could be a really fun one, but he's actually pretty good as well. End product's an issue, but pace, good on the ball, could be a really fun card to pick up. And then you got that one more in the Turkish bag as well, Talisca. I'm not sure how many people he's going to work for, but certainly he's got a lot of qualities, and if he does work for you, could be a pretty handy card. So yeah, out of all the 5 stars, I wouldn't say any really stand out. I think they could all be decent for you, to be honest. Just depends what you're looking for. And now on to match pass, and we'll start with some mathematics as always. So these days, your value match pass will cost you 400 coins. It's Thomas Müller this time. And then for the premium match pass, which is Trent Alexander-Arnold this time, it will cost you 800 coins. If it's the first time you purchased it, you'll get a 50% discount. So you get 200 coins off the value or 400 coins off the premium. And that discount applies to the first time you purchased each of these two. If you complete all of the matches and get all the rewards from the match price, you'll get 130 coins back from the value. So that means it will cost you in total 270 coins for the value once you got the rewards back. And then likewise for the premium, you get 170 coins back. So then from that 800 initial price, if you complete all the matches to get all the rewards, it'll end up only costing you 630 coins. And of course, you can take the discount at 200 or 400 off if it's your first time purchasing either of them. So there are some numbers for you. But as I mentioned, we have Thomas Müller in the value match pass and Trent Alexander-Arnold in the premium. So let's have a look at both these players, and we'll have a look at how good they both are. So we'll start with Thomas Müller from the value match pass. We'll go straight to eFootball Hub and get him all trained up. And as you can see, this is a very interesting version of Müller. And the one thing to note with this version of Müller is they've really boosted his pace. So from his GP card, they've put 16 on his speed, 16. And they've put 11 on his acceleration. They've also put 14 on his physical contact. And they've also boosted his dribbling, his kicking power a bit as well. Yeah, interesting boost this on Müller. They've not boosted him a great deal elsewhere, but certainly with the pace especially, and quite a bit in his physical contact, that's a very interesting boost. We've had quite a few versions of Müller by now. We've had a few Player of the Week ones. 3 Player of the Week cards are all whole players. Not a lot of difference in overall ability between this one and those, but this one does have more pace and physical contact. Not quite as good at passing, and in other areas they'll have a bit of an advantage as well, because obviously the pace is the advantage this one has. So if the pace gets it, this gives this one an advantage, and the overall rating is about the same. The other ones are likely to be better in some other areas. So yeah, stats obviously shoved around on the different Player of the Week cards. Depends on which attributes you prioritize. I personally prefer this one for the pace, but a lot of people may well prefer one or all of the Player of the Week cards. And in terms of trainables, this is one of the best trainable versions of Müller. The only one I see that's as good as this one is an old nominating contract one. It's way back now, a couple of years back now. Had a kind of black and red background with some kind of star on it, I think. That one, if anything, is maybe slightly better, but the stats are shuffled around a bit. And again, this one has a pace advantage. So if you prefer the pace on a Müller card, this one would be better for you. But likewise, that one does have some other attributes higher. So overall ability pretty similar. That's the only one for me that I can see that's as good as this one. This is one of the best versions we've had of Thomas Müller, and like I say, it's just about the quickest. So yeah, nice to see a Müller card where he's got a bit of pace. Not seen that in a while. He does have Super Sub again these days. I think they removed Super Sub for a while, and he's only got it back recently. I might be wrong on that. There are certainly some versions of Müller in the game that don't have Super Sub. And again, according to eFootball, we have goalkeeper long throw. That is an error. But yeah, we've got a good section skills as you'd expect on Müller. First time shot, through passing, heel trick, obviously Super Sub. Bit of everything really. And yeah, he's got a bit of pace, and he's pretty good technically. It's going to be a question of where you're going to use this guy. He's a dummy runner. Quite a unique playing style. I've talked about a few dummy runners lately. Obviously, we've got Huang in that Showtime selection thingy. There's been one or two others. Dummy runner will basically be making runs mainly out from the centre into kind of the channels, taking his marker with him, sort of moving defenders around. It can be a very interesting playing style. Just depends on who you've got around and what kind of attacking setup you've got. But if you use a dummy runner well, it can be very effective. That dummy runner playing style will also be active at attacking midfield. And at centre forward, so anywhere through the middle that you use this guy, he's going to be a dummy runner. You could position train him to play wide right if you want to, in which case he will not have an active playing style. I'll quickly just have a look at what the auto allocation says. I'll go to right midfield. So yeah, you could make him a right mid. He's certainly got more pace than he normally does. Is that really going to be where you get the use out of him though? He's not going to be great at crossing. He's not much of a dribbler. I don't think really many people use him as a right mid. As a right wing forward, I don't know. I mean, he could take a bit away from the passing. If you're going to focus on him coming inside from the right flank, to try and score goals for you, I guess. Always one on defending, I'll take that back, thank you. What we're going to do here, I don't know why I'm even bothering. I don't think this guy's really a right wing forward, is he? Not great at dribbling, he's not got electric pace. Yeah, I think Muller, you're definitely looking at using him through the middle. I'm just going to do one kind of build as an attacking mid, where we see if we can make him more of a playmaker. Obviously with the dummy runner playing style, I'm not sure it's going to be the kind of playing style you'd want on a playmaker as such, because you want a playmaker to be constantly in the middle, getting on the ball. The dummy runner is going to go darting off into spaces and taking defenders with him. But certainly as an attacking mid with any playing style, you do need him to be good at passing. Fully boosted 85 low pass, not high enough for me. You could nick a couple off dribbling, you could certainly nick a couple off attacking awareness, but that balance isn't great. It's one of those ones where the dexterity, you've got a lot on one attribute but not a lot on the other, so it's kind of a shame to take that down. I think take it down by a couple. I just want to see how good we can make his passing. We can get up to 88 realistically, and I'll just put 2 back on dexterity, I think. Yeah, you could use him as an AMF. I'm not sure I'd recommend it, even though he's quicker than he normally is. He's still not got great pace, he's not got great balance. He's decent on the ball, he's got decent passing, certainly got decent finishing from attacking midfield, outstanding attacking awareness. You need to give him one touch pass to go along with through passing. But yeah, are you going to use Thomas Muller as an AMF? I'm not sure. You could do. That's probably roughly how I'd build him. That's how I'd recommend as an AMF, but I don't know if that's where the best way to use him. I think certainly when you look at the best attributes, got the biggest strength he's got is that outstanding attacking awareness. As an SS or a striker even, I think that's going to be the best way to use him. So we'll just go back to auto allocations and the SS. As an SS, I'm not sure I would change a great deal on the ball. I think, you know, he's obviously not much of a dribbler. Nice to have the ball control and tight possession at 90. It has gone up to 12 on auto allocation on dribbling, but I think I'm going to leave that there. Passing is not amazing, but he's got through passing. I think I'll probably leave that as well. Finishing's at 90. Lower body, I mean, to be honest, you don't need that much finishing as an SS. If he's an SS, you can nick a couple off his finishing, nudge his lower body up, just one more on lower body, gets the kicking power up by 2 to 88. And then he could maybe just nudge his passing up a little bit. I'll be inclined to do that, and maybe even nick 1 or 2 off dexterity. Could we get the finishing, not the finishing, sorry, the passing even higher? I think I'd maybe do something like that. It's not a major change from the auto allocation. I think as an SS, it can be very interesting, making those runs that a dummy runner will make out into spaces. He's going to be comfortable enough when the ball does come to him. He's got a bit of end product. He's got the first time shot through passing, and his low pass and finishing attributes are decent. Yeah, I mean, we know what to expect from Muller. He's different. He's very different. The playing style and the profile he's got, and that attacking awareness as well is fantastic. So, a very different options in SS. And I always say with the dummy runner, it just comes down to the way you're going to use him. It comes down to your attacking setup. You know, what kind of strikers have you got? Wide forwards. What other SSs and attacking players in general do you have? All of those things are going to determine how he's going to play, because there's so many ways you can use a dummy runner. It's not as straightforward as a goal poacher, for example, but yeah, with roughly that kind of a build as an SS, it could be a very interesting option. Like I say with Muller, yes, there have been options where he's a bit better technically, might have better passing, better finishing, but with this one, it's very much a pacey version of Muller. I don't think there's been a version of Muller so far in eFootball as quick as this. So if you've been waiting for a version of Muller and hoping you one day get one with some pace, then this could be a great one for you. And just to finally give him a centre forward build, you don't need to be quite as good on the ball as a centre forward. I would just say, I mean, he could go all the way down. Let's just see. Let's get his finishing up to 90 first. I'm going to leave the dexterity where it is. I'll leave the acceleration at 80. In fact, I'll put one more on there. It's only 2 points. What else do we need to do? Okay, so we've got 14 points to play with. It's hard to really get much on his dexterity to get his balance up, but you could certainly get some aerial ability on him, get him physically stronger. That's nice. We've still got 6 points left there. So we've got 6 on aerial, 6 points still left. I'm just going to make him better on the ball, I think. Yeah, I think I would do that, to be honest, as a centre forward. So he's got a little bit of pace about him, not a great deal. He's got some decent kicking power, giving him some physical strength now. He's reasonable on the ball. He's reasonable with passing as well as a centre forward. And he's got through passing. Awareness is obviously outstanding, whatever you do, whatever build you put on Muller. 96, finishing at 90. Heading at 81. He's not going to be great in the air. You see that vertical reach here, 260. He's not got much of a leap on him. He's not going to be great from crosses. But certainly when he does come to the winner header, he's going to have a decent header on him at 81 for heading. Yeah, it's a Thomas Muller card. And like I say, He's a bit quicker. He's got a bit more athleticism than he normally does. Maybe not quite as good technically, but he's still pretty tidy technically. He's still got amazing attacking awareness, good finishing as well. So you'd need to position train him, obviously, to make him a centre forward. But if you do that, dummy runner still the active playing style, and with that kind of ability, could be a very useful option, very interesting one. So like I said, there are 1 or 2 other dummy runners around at the moment. There's obviously been David Villa from the coin store, and of course the Huang one that some of us are going to be choosing from that Showtime pack. But this is a very interesting option, and certainly if you're a fan of Thomas Muller and you've been a bit frustrated by how slow the previous versions have been of him on eFootball, this could be a really fun one for you to pick up. To be honest, I've had a couple of the Player of the Week ones, and they've got no pace whatsoever, but they've still been quite fun to use, pretty effective with the whole player playing style. So yeah, this one for me, I'm going to get. I think it's quite a rare one, this card. It's an interesting one. Rare for the playing style, rare for the fact that it's Thomas Muller with some pace. There's a few ways you can use him. And yeah, quite unique, quite a rare card. I think for a lot of people, it could be very appealing for the value match pass this. And our premium match pass player is Trent Alexander-Arnold. So, all trained up, maxed out. As you can see, it's just another Trent Alexander-Arnold card, really. It's a good one. We've had quite a few. We had a couple of Player of the Weeks. He's pretty similar to both the Player of the Weeks, really. He's got a bit more pace than the centre midfield one. So he's better at right back than the centre midfield one is. Pretty similar to the left back one. To be honest, with the trainables, he's up there with the back ones. It is a good version of Trent, this. Obviously, that doesn't include the Showtime and Legend versions that we've had of him. I think the best one apart from this one's probably the one in the England pack. But the one real concern with this Trent card is that I forget when it was exactly. I think it's with the last big update in September or whenever it was. Anyone who's new to the game these days gets a free Trent card. So you're looking at this thinking, okay, what's the difference? How do they compare? This one's only a little bit better, to be honest. It's not massively better. You know, that obviously this one is better than the free one. But if you've got that free one, you don't really need this one. And a lot of people have the free one. And to be honest, if you're playing the game long enough that you didn't get the free Trent when you started playing, you've probably had a good Trent card by now. So how many people are actually going to want this Trent card? I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense to me. I think, to be honest, they've made some weird choices. When they did Cole Palmer, I think, was that a few months ago? They put Cole Palmer in the premium match pass when he's already in the penalty game, and most people are going to get that card for free. I thought that was a pretty weird decision. This one is the same. I think it's one of the worst decisions they've made. I mean, this is the premium match pass that they're going to get, that you have to pay the most coins for, and I see so so few people potentially wanting this card. Yes, some people will. If you didn't get the free one when you start playing the game, and if for some reason you just haven't got a good Trent card by now, and you want one, for sure it'd be great for you. But how many people is that in the player base? 10% maybe? I just don't think it's a really good decision. But anyways, I won't ramble on about that. It is a good Trent card, like I say. It's one of the better trainables. Pretty similar to the 2 Player of the Week ones. He's had a reasonable boost from his GB card as well. Acceleration's been boosted a bit. Physical contact, his dribbling's up a bit, and tight possession. All the other attributes are either not been increased at all or only increased by 1 or 2. Those are the ones being increased mainly. And of course, he's a pretty good card. He's a fullback finisher these days. He's been a cross specialist before, which was weird because that's not an active playing style as a right back. Fullback finisher is active as a right back. He'll be drifting inside quite a bit into midfield. He might not like that. Depends on your personal preferences. He won't have an active playing style right mid or centre mid. Skill wise, obviously you know what you get with Trent. A load of passing, loads of end product, but nothing really defensively. So you really need to give him interception, maybe some man marking, maybe even blocker as well, if you're going to play him as a fullback. And in terms of how the points are allocated, depends how you're going to use him. Interesting build he's got in there. I would say you could do with a bit more balance. But to be honest, where do you take the points from? You can nick 1 from low body, I guess, and get his balance up by 1. But beyond that, you don't really want to take away from what he's so good at, do you? So, oh, what have I just done there? Didn't mean to do that. So yeah, for me, yeah, I think you can maybe take a couple off his defending. He's a fullback finisher. He's a very attacking player. Then you could, yeah, there. You can get his bounce to 8 to the 80 mark like that. I'd be inclined to do that. He's more about getting forward, obviously, the kind of fullback he is. And that's probably where I'd leave him, to be honest. And like I say, he's one of the better versions of Trent, just needs a few defensive skills. He's going to have a fantastic cross on him. He's going to be very good when he gets forward. He does have some defensive ability. And yeah, there's no major weakness there, really. Just the playing style might put you off, and he does need those defensive skills. In terms of other positions, could he be training for centre-back? I doubt it. Sneaky centre-back? Not really. Not physically strong enough. Plenty of qualities, but yeah, I don't think anyone's going to do that. Defensive mid, maybe. Could be a very interesting defensive mid. Maybe. Maybe. I think I'm going to shuffle these points around a little bit. Because still looking at that physical strength and balance, they're a bit iffy. I'll be inclined to maybe do something like that. Yeah, as a defensive mid, it could be interesting. Again, you do need the defensive skills, but if you position training for defensive mid, you give him the skills he needs defensively. Very nice passing, he's okay on the ball, defensively strong. Just lacking a little bit with the physical contact, the balance, but certainly is an option for his defensive mid. He might not be a bad option there as a defensive mid. As a centre mid, likewise, the defending's not quite so important. I'd probably have him. I mean, you could just go. You could even go as low as 4. Depends on how you want to use him. I've done a defensive midfield. I'll do a more offensive build as a centre midfielder. A bit more dexterity then. A bit better on the ball. A bit more balance maybe. Yeah, we can do that. Nice. Yeah. Centre midfielder maybe. Again, you know, these midfield positions he won't have an active playing style. But tidy on the ball. Good passing. Horrible shooting. Be careful with the shooting. But attacking awareness is decent enough. Defensively, he's got a bit of defensive ability. Decent pace for a centre mid. The physical contact, the bounce are kind of okay, and stamina's good. So you've got an option as a centre mid. Again, you probably need at least interception as a centre mid. You can get away with just giving an interception, to be honest. And I think you could certainly do a job at centre mid. And then you've got right midfield. And right midfield, I think you know what's going to happen. He's going to be a cross spammer. Is he going to be a good cross spammer? Probably. Where are we? How am I training him for right midfield? Just like that, I think. Anything else I'd do there? Could maybe nick a few off. Passing, actually. Yeah. There. I would probably do that. A few ways you could tweak the points, shuffle them around, but you can make him pretty nice on the ball. He's going to have a fantastic cross on him. Got the lofted pass, the curl, and the kicking power. He's got decent pace, fantastic stamina. You can make him a wing back as well. Depends what kind of, how you're going to use a right midfielder. But as a right midfielder, whether it's an out-and-out winger, whipping crosses in could be very nice. Whether it's a wing back with a bit of everything, don't go quite so heavy on the technicals. Maybe take some from those on-the-ball attributes and give him some defending back. A little bit of aerial as well. As a wing back, what am I doing? As a wing back could be a very nice option, getting up and down, doing a bit of everything. So yeah, it's a very good Trent Alexander-Arnold card. It's one of the better trainable wrestlers we've had. He's had a different playing style in the past, so it might not be the playing style for you. That might put you off. The Player of the Week cards are pretty similar. You might have one of those already, in which case you might not need this one. And like I say, a lot of you have probably got the free one you get when you start playing the game, in which case, do you really need one that's only slightly better for however much coins? What, 800 coins? Yes, you get a few coins back, but even if you get all the coins back, it's over 600 coins. I think it's going to cost you still. So is it worth it? I think for the majority of people, no. But just to look at it in isolation, if you do want a good Trent card, this is a good Trent card. You can be a very good, very attacking right back. You can play him in the midfield, DMF or CMF. You can make him a cross spammer right midfield as well. I think certainly any defensive position, he desperately needs a few defensive skills, but he's got some very good strengths, got some very good attributes. And if you do want a good Trent card, like I say, it could be a good one. It's the question of whether you think it's worth spending all those coins on him. But like I say, in my personal opinion, I think the vast majority of people say it's not. I think it's a really poor choice for the premium match pass, but it is a very good Trent card. It's got a few ways you can use him. So yeah, if you do want a good Trent card, really good card to have. So there's all your nominating contract and match pass players that have just been added to eFootball. I do think it's a reasonable selection on the whole, but there's always reason to complain. I think Trent is a terrible choice for the premium match pass. Muller, I think, is a pretty cool one. I think from the 5 stars, my one complaint with the 5 stars is just I feel like we deserve more options. I feel like I could really do with just giving us more players to choose. So I'm just 6 in that club icon, pride of club, whatever it's called, that pack. And then 1 or 2 elsewhere. I'd like a few more options, but I do think the options we've got at 5 star are decent. 4 star, I don't think there are many particularly exciting ones. I think Mané is a decent one, to be fair, from the Turkish League. Apart from that, a whole bunch that are kind of all right, but some of them, what are you going to use them for? They don't have league changes, some of them don't have live update. I think I could do better with the 4 stars. 3 stars, certainly nothing particularly great this time around, but what use is there for 3 stars these days anyway in the game? Outside the fact that the power creep is making it so much harder to use low rated players in things like divisions. Most of us are getting locked out of most of the league changes as well. So yeah, there's always some frustration here and there with the nominating contract situation, but there are some decent ones this time around. Like I say, I think certainly with the 5 stars, there might not be too many options, but I think they're all pretty decent. So be interested to know your thoughts. Hopefully you found this video useful and I've helped you to make your decisions about which players to use your contracts on and whether to pick up either of the match passes. So yeah, let me know what you think of the packs. Thank you for watching. As always, I do really appreciate it. And I will eventually review that Inter pack. That's probably the next one I'll be doing. So keep your eyes out for that. I promise, get that review done as well. And maybe there'll be 1 or 2 streams coming up as well. So yeah, thanks for watching. I do really appreciate it. And hopefully I'll see you guys soon. Take it easy.